Hokage give me a face, Chapter 241-260. Chapter 241 Conan was caught. Is it related to Jiraiya? When Tsunade asked this question carelessly, Yizan and Sarutobi's expressions suddenly changed. That moment, Jiraiya looked at Yizan fiercely, with suspicion and speculation in his eyes. Stinky boy, hell in heaven. You didn't write it, did you? Ah, me, how is that possible? Jiraiya, you have a disease in your head, do you think I can write this kind of book at my age? Besides, the two of us have such a good relationship, I would take things like, Jiraiya is a big idiot, author name. This seems to be right. Jiraiya nodded hesitantly, but the doubt on her face did not dissipate. Hey, that's not right. As if thinking of something, Jiraiya glared at Yizan again. Stinky boy, how do you know the author's name is, Jiraiya is a big idiot? I've seen it. Have you seen it? Yeah, as Konoha's know it all, what else do you think I don't know, idiot? Yizan picked his fingernails in disdain, fell down, and comfortably rested on Tsunade's lap. Humph, you're an idiot, Jiraiya pouted, muttering in a low voice, looking at Sarutobi again. Don't look at me, I don't know about this matter, and it's just a small book. You can't use Anbu's investigation, and 913 and I think this book not only did not pollute the mind of the Konoha ninja, but a way to relieve stress. Jiraiya, haven't you written it yourself? How do you know, Mr. Sarutobi? Of course I know, I'm a small Taobao expert. I found the book you wrote under a pseudonym at the stall a long time ago. Sarutobi raised his chin proudly, as if Taobao made him feel very honored. When Sarutobi said this, Jiraiya has no way to refute it. He wrote this kind of book himself, but now he wants Sarutobi to severely punish other authors, which makes no sense at all. And, Jiraiya left the office and sent the idiot away. Sarutobi finally breathed a sigh of relief. As if remembering something, he turned his head to look at Yizan. Xiaozan, how about you? What's the matter with you? Me, it's not a big deal. It's just that Might Dai's wife is not in good health. He and I are also friends. It depends on whether you have any supplements and medicinal materials here. Bring him some. Regarding Yizan's purpose, Sarutobi agreed immediately without thinking about it. Although the war has consumed a lot of money, Konoha is very rich because of the previous 210 billion funds. Sarutobi has never been a selfish person. With this money, he developed Konoha's economic construction, including the welfare of ninjas and civilians, and it has also improved more than 100 times than before. Sarutobi ordered, and soon one sent Anbu to send some. Tsunade had already handed in the task, and there was nothing else to do. The two held hands and left the office happily. Baby wife, come to my house. Why are you going to your house? Play ninja kill. No, I want to go back and take a shower. Hey, take a shower. Yizan's eyes widened and his saliva almost came out. He pulled Tsunade with anticipation on his face and said excitedly, I want to take a bath too, let's take a bath together. Bath together, you bastard, do you want to take a bath with me? Want to kiss me in the shower? Think beautifully. Tsunade raised her green finger, flicked Yizan lightly, and then covered her mouth and snickered. She liked to half squint her eyes when she smiled, and Yukiba curved like a little mouse who stole food. Humph. Yizan pouted and turned his head in annoyance. Tsunade lowered his head, kissed his cheek happily, put his hands behind his back, and jumped into the distance. Little pervert, you go back to accompany your little girlfriends first. I'll come to you to play ninja kill after taking a bath. Seeing Tsunade leave, Yizan shrugged, turned and walked towards his house. Ninja kill can be divided into 5 people and 8 people to play. Kushina, Mawako, Conan, himself, and Tsunade, who happen to be 5 people, can play 5-player game. I'm back. Opening the door, Yizan walked in happily, and before he took a few steps, he found that the atmosphere at home was very strange. Hey, What's the matter? When I walked to the living room, I found Conan lowered his head and didn't say a word. Mawako and Kushina's faces were not very good looking. What's wrong with you? Yizan walked over and hugged Kushina's waist, but was gently pushed by Kushina, with a trace of blame in her beautiful big eyes. Stinky hooligan, it's all your fault. Why put the book on the coffee table? Kushina blamed inexplicably, making Yi Xuanzhong like a monk puzzled. As if remembering something, Yizan looked at Mawako, and his tone became more and more puzzled. Mawako, didn't you say that you were going to take Conan to Xiaopao's house for a few days? Why did you come back? And, what happened to Conan? Speaking of Conan, Kushina and Mawako's expressions suddenly changed, and Conan, who had been sitting on the sofa with his head down, was even more shocked, and his head dropped even lower. It's all your fault. Put your disgusting book on the coffee table. Conan read it. Conan, too, why are you reading a book written by this stinky hooligan? It's clearly written on the cover. Under the age of 18, it is not allowed to read such books. Kushina rebuked loudly, but Yizan's eyes became more and more strange. Conan just watched it. What are you excited about? Besides, you're a little girl, okay. You're 3 years older than Conan, and you're still teaching Conan here. How can it be the same? Conan is so pure. Oh, you mean, you're not pure. Bastard. Are you going to do this? I'll hit you. I'm just telling the truth. Humph. Kill you. Kushina jumped on Yizan at once, like a little lion, biting when he opened his mouth. Pain. Kushina, enough of you. Bite again, I'll fight back. You fight back. I see how you fight back. Ah, you rascal, you dare to bite me. Little murderous department, curse you not to grow up in the future. Bah, you rascal, shut your crow's mouth. I don't grow up here, but you are the one who suffers. Huh. Chapter 242-5 People Playing Game. The lounge at Shimura's house is large and gorgeous, and the yuhi wooden floor is covered with a soft wool carpet, which is clean and tidy. The 5 people sat around a low round table, with Tsunade on the left of Yizan and Conan on the right. Kushina deliberately stayed the farthest away, with Yuhi's face, and he lowered his head slightly and dared not look at Yizan. It's me who suffers, tisk. All arrows are fired. Yizan glanced at Kushina from time to time, which made Kushina even more shy. Not only Kushina, but Conan has also been silent. I read Yizan's book so much that I didn't notice Mawako and Kushina who came out of the bedroom. They were caught, making her shy and afraid to raise her head. Such a weird atmosphere also made the whole game less interesting. Seeing Tsunade yawned a little bored, Yizan rolled his eyes and suddenly had an idea. Tsunade, switch places with Kushina. Huh, oh. Tsunade nodded, stood up and walked over. For some unknown reason, Kushina didn't refuse, but glared at Yizan and sat down beside Yizan awkwardly. Where have you just been? All arrows are fired, Mawako, it's your turn to dodge. Oh, sorry, I didn't dodge. Mawako immediately reduced her general's health by 1. Ninja kill continued. Yizan was unlucky, because he didn't dodge in his hand. He was quickly killed by several women's single kill and group wounds. He raised his identity card, traitor. The 4 girls continued to fight, while Yizan watched the battle, his eyes rolling, obviously thinking of some bad idea. Ah! A sudden soft cry attracted everyone's attention. They saw Conan's face. Yuhi pursed. They couldn't help but care. Conan, what's wrong? It's nothing, I just got bitten by a mosquito. Conan said softly, holding a card in his left hand and pulling one out of his right hand. His arm was shaking slightly. I went across the river to demolish the bridge, and to remove Sister Tsunade's shield. Flawless. Ha ha. I've always kept it. Tsunade laughed smugly, and her smile drew everyone's attention. At this moment, no one noticed that Yizan's hand was quietly touching Conan's leg, rubbing it gently, making Conan's face even more moist. Without playing cards, Conan retracted her right hand under the low table, trying to pull Yizan's hand away, but how could her strength be comparable to Yizan's? No matter how hard she tried, Yizan's hand was like a stone. On her leg, she couldn't get it down. Conan, it's your turn to get out. Huh. The sudden sound woke Conan. She raised her hand sharply, and squeezed one of the cards with her right hand again. I have a flash. No, Conan, this is a Nanban invasion, you should kill. Ah, I didn't kill. Conan was a little panicked. She found that Yizan had taken an inch, and actually started to move inward. She finally couldn't help it, and subconsciously patted her leg. Snapped. With a soft sound, Yizan's hand retracted like lightning. Only at this moment did the girls realize that Yizan was actually doing such a bad move. Stinky bastard. Little pervert. Shimura Gen. Kushina Tsunade and Mawako glared at the same time. They didn't expect Yizan to really start bullying Conan. The three women's glare made Yizan feel guilty and shrink his neck, but at this time, Conan took the initiative to speak for Yizan. It's okay. Just now, a mosquito was on my lap. The teacher helped me to drive away the mosquito. Well, even pigs won't believe this kind of idiot explanation, but since Conan took the initiative to say so, the girls can't say anything else. They understand in their hearts that Conan, this stupid girl, seems to be unable to escape Yizan's palm. Heart. But seriously, apart from Mawako, who is not pretty, Tsunade and Kushina, didn't they all fall into Yizan's palm? In terms of Yizan's character, nothing that falls into his palm can escape. This stinky bastard. Kushina glared at Yizan fiercely, and the next second, she was shocked, and her leg was touched by the other side. Kushina is completely different from Conan. Her fiery personality is destined to not give up. Seeing Yizan's fingers climbing up one by one, she swooped over and instantly threw Yizan on the carpet. Dead woman, what are you doing? What am I doing? Humph. Bully me. Kill you. Bite you. Bite you. Ah, bastard woman. I'm not arrogant, you still treat me as a sick cat. Today is your death anniversary. The two hugged and rolled around on the hand-woven high-quality wool carpet. Tsunade, who was beside him, clenched his fists with black lines on his face. Finally, he couldn't help but slammed it hard. Boom. Boom. The scene of the chicken flying and the dog jumping disappeared. Because the table just rolled and knocked over the table, all the cards were messed up, and everyone started to shuffle the cards again for a new round of ninja kills. Ooh, Sister Tsunade, it's obviously the rascal's fault. Why did you even knock on me? Kushina pouted aggrievedly and quickly played a card. All arrows are fired. Shine. Tsunade played a flash slowly, looking at the little yuhi bag on Kushina's forehead, a little embarrassed. Sorry, Kushina, if I only hit the little perverts, he will definitely not give up. It is better to put you two have knocked, so everyone can continue to play cards. Ooh, excessive. Equip the ninja crossbow. Kill, kill. Tsunade's sister, you will die before you dodge. Hey, Kushina, you're looking for revenge. No, I am the Lord. I judged you to be a rebel, and I did not retaliate against you. Okay, you guessed it right. Tsunade opened the ID card, and it turned out to be a thief. She pouted angrily and saw the four of them continue the game. She suddenly stood up and sat down behind Yizan, her chin resting on Yizan's shoulder, and she hugged Yizan with both hands. Waste. Little pervert, the traitor is you, right? Defeat the Lord Kushina. If the villain wins this round, I will reward you with something good tonight, Tilda. Really? Of course it's true. Tsunade blew the hair in Yizan's ear badly, which made Yizan's heart beat faster, as if he had been beaten with blood, and instantly came to a state. For tonight's reward, Kushina, you're done. Humph. You rascal, if you help me fight another rebel and let me win, I will reward you tonight too. Chapter 243 Tsunade's Gift. Tsunade, Kushina, Tsunade, Kushina, Tsunade, Kushina. On the hand-woven wool carpet, Yizan sat cross-legged, whispering something, holding a flower in his hand, pulling the flowers one by one. Tsunade, Kushina, Tsunade. Hey, no more. Yizan was taken aback, looked at Kushina regretfully, a little ashamed. I'm sorry Kushina baby, I have to help Tsunade when you tilde. Humph. Kushina Tsunade snorted lightly, looking at the cards in his hand, and a hint of momentum finally appeared on his face. Come on stinky rascal. I still have a big loyal minister. Even if you help the rebels, I don't necessarily lose. Quote. Sorry, if you're talking about loyal ministers. Yizan glanced at the bloody Conan and played the cards in his hand cruelly, crossing the river and demolishing the bridge. Conan, demolish your last hand. Iron chains. Wine. Fire kill. Quote. Boom. Conan, who was equipped with rattan armor, was killed by wine and fire, and 3 drops of blood disappeared in an instant, and Kushina, who was chained by iron chains, also suffered a disaster, and 4 drops of blood instantly turned into 1 drop. Woo, Conan, why do you have to equip rattan armor? I'm sorry, I only have a drop of blood. I can last a few rounds with a rattan armor. I didn't expect the cards in the teacher's hand to be aimed at me. Conan was extremely aggrieved. She looked at Yizan pitifully, her big eyes flashing with tears. It's not enough to play a card, right? Oh, Conan, oh, don't cry, come, let the teacher hug tilde. Yizan immediately took Conan into his arms. As soon as Conan, who was aggrieved at first, entered his arms, she felt a burst of warmth. She comfortably drilled into Yizan's arms a few times, and the grievances in her heart dissipated instantly. Conan is finished. Seeing Conan's performance, Tsunade and Kushina looked at each other sympathetically, and they knew that if this continued, obediently Conan would fall into Yizan and could not extricate himself. After the last round, it was already pitch black, and looking at the time, it was already 11 o'clock in the evening. Conan and Mawako yawned, obviously tired. It's almost there, today's event is over. I should probably go back to rest. After Tsunade finished speaking, Conan and Mawako nodded in agreement. Although Kushina still wanted to play, everyone was tired and she couldn't say anything. Clearing the table, Tsunade got up and went to the entrance, put on his shoes, and was about to go out when Yizan ran over, his eyes full of resentment. Hey, did you forget something? Forgot what? Tsunade stuck his finger on his chin like an idiot, looking up at the sky, looking very cute. Don't be cute. Where's my reward? Huh, what reward? Hello. That Tsunade was about to cheat, Yizan suddenly turned his face into a small bun. Looking at Yizan's cute appearance, Tsunade finally couldn't help it, and burst out laughing. Ha ha ha, little idiot, what's the matter, what kind of reward do you want? She proudly pinched Yizan's cheek and pressed it lightly, squeezing out Yizan's bulging air. HMPH, I want a reward anyway. As for what reward, I'll take you home and talk about it. Regardless of whether Tsunade would refuse, Yizan immediately put on his shoes, opened the door, and pulled Tsunade towards the outside. Mawako, Conan, Kushina, go to sleep, I won't be back tonight. Boom. The door was closed, Yizan and Tsunade left the house. Mawako shook her head speechlessly, Kushina snorted angrily, Conan stood obediently at the back, a little silly, as if thinking of the plot in the Fan Yuhi's erotic book. Yuhi's face, swipe, down. Kushina's sister, teacher and Tsunade's sister will not go. Conan, what are you thinking? Say it, don't think about the dirty stuff in the books. But doesn't Sister Kushina really want to see it too? I'm a mature girl, I won't be polluted by these things. You are different, you can't watch these until you grow up, when your mind is mature. Oh. The 3 girls in the family are going to wash up and go to bed. On Konoha Street, Yizan and Tsunade are snuggling for a walk. The evening wind in early summer was a little cool, and under the faint street lamp, the 2 shadows were tightly intertwined. The residents of Konoha all went to bed early. At 11 o'clock in the evening, there were only Yizan and Tsunade on the street. The 2 kept whispering and walking for a long time, and finally came to Tsunade's house. Little pervert, thank you for sending me back. Bye Tilda. Tsunade smiled and kissed Yizan's face, turned around and walked towards the door of his house. Wait. Yizan opened his eyes stupidly, and asked Tsunade suspiciously, baby wife, didn't you say, sleep with me tonight? Ah, sleep together. When did I say that? Tsunade scratched his head blankly, looking stupid and cute. Stinky woman. Don't say anything. You clearly agreed. Seeing that Tsunade wanted to cheat again, Yizan puffed up again, looking a little angry. I didn't say yes, little pervert. I just said I'd give you a gift, but I didn't say I wanted to sleep with you Tilda. Tsunade smiled and pointed at Yizan with his finger, his face full of pride. I just kissed you. One bite, isn't it just a gift for you, little slut? Don't be too aggressive Tilda. Confused. Yizan's expression at the moment can be described as dazed. He was dumbfounded in place for a whole minute, and it was only with a light sound that he realized that Tsunade had gone home and closed the door when he was in a daze on 3.4. Hey, stinky woman, you play word games with me. Come out, come out. Yizan stood on the street and shouted, and after a while, Tsunade appeared in the window on the third floor. She said goodbye to Yizan with a smile, and closed the window with a crashing. Hey, this stinky woman, it's so nasty. Sure enough, the more beautiful a woman is, the more she will lie. Yizan knew that it was impossible not to be strong today. He puffed out his mouth, jumped up, and climbed up the third floor like a spider. Chakra formed filaments through the crack of the window, pulled it gently, and opened the window. Lock. Ah, little pervert. Stinky woman, today you are finished. Chapter 244-The Elder is Dead. The next morning, Yizan, who had slept with Tsunade all night, stretched his waist comfortably, feeling very good. Physical training will continue after Might Dai is ready. There is no news from Kakuzu and Orochimaru. Today is the weekend, and everyone is not going to school. Let's go out and play with your friends. Thinking of this, Yizan decided today's schedule, but his thoughts hadn't lasted for too long. Suddenly, a dark shadow appeared not far from Yizan. Master Zan. What's wrong? Yizan was speechless. Anbu actually came to him. In this case, something big must have happened. Wait, don't talk about it. Let me guess, is there a mission on Dead Monkey's side? No. Is Hatake Sakumo looking for me? No. Not at all. Then why are you looking for me? I'll tell you 30, if it's nothing serious and you disturb my interest again, I can't spare you. Yizan waved his small fist and threatened, making the Anbu sweat profusely. He bent down pitifully, his tone full of fear. Master Zan. This subordinate has an emergency report. I just got it. The news, the death of the elder Uchiha. The Lord Hokage ordered me to tell you the news. Cut. If you die, you will die. Tell me. What? The great elder is dead. How did he die? Yizan's eyes widened in disbelief, and it was only at this moment that he remembered that the great elder of Uchiha, isn't it Makoto's grandfather? Reporting to Master Zan, the elder Uchiha died peacefully in his bedroom at 6 in the morning because of his old age and his physical injuries when he was young. Anbu's report made Yizan frown deeply. If the elder Uchiha died, it would be troublesome. Trouble. Big trouble. The elder Uchiha is the only representative of Uchiha's Dove faction. The great elder dies, the Dove faction will no longer be able to produce powerful people. At that time, the lineage of the patriarch will definitely control the Uchiha clan. For Yizan. Mind his shit. My Makoto, hurry up. I have to go to Uchiha right now. Makoto, don't cry. I'll be right there. For Yizan, his Makoto is a big deal. Makoto's parents passed away at an early age, and he was brought up by his grandfather. Now his only relative has passed away. What a serious blow to Makoto. Sage mode, on. Futon wind style mode, on. Hurry up. Swish. Sound. This elite Jonin level Anbu only felt his eyes blink, and in the next instant, Yi Zan disappeared. Every time I see Lord Zan's futon wind style mode, I am shocked. It's so fast. As expected of Lord Zan. Anbu adored and sighed, and in the Uchiha clan, a large number of clansmen gathered outside the Great Elder's mansion. Although the ideas were different, I had to admit that the Great Elder paid a lot for the Uchiha clan, and it was worthy of everyone's respect and farewell. The largest house in the mansion had been turned into a mourning hall, and Makoto knelt beside the coffin with tears on his face. The sudden death of her grandfather made her completely unacceptable, and the departure of her last relatives made her feel infinite sadness. Sarutobi, Danzo, and the two major advisors were all in the mourning hall, and they silently offered Jinchuriki column incense for the elders. Call out. A gust of wind blew, and Yizan appeared in the mourning hall in an instant. His appearance made the faces of the Uchiha people in the first row of the mourning hall change, especially Uchiha Ida and Uchiha Fugaku, who were in the lead. Dad. Well, give Jinchuriki column incense for the elder, and go take care of Makoto. Danzo nodded to Yizan. Yizan didn't say anything. Shengshang bowed 3 times for the deceased, then came to Makoto's side, and squeezed Makoto's hand gently. Makoto, here I come. The short words were full of a strong sense of security. Makoto raised her head with tears on her face, and then she desperately threw herself into Yizan's arms and burst into tears. Brother Zan, my grandfather is dead. Woo woo, my grandfather is dead. Makoto cried pitifully, which made Yizan sigh. He hugged Makoto, patted her back lightly, while comforting. Makoto, death does not mean the end, but a beginning. Your grandpa walked peacefully. It's not painful. I think grandpa is in the spirit of heaven, and he doesn't want his only granddaughter to be so sad. For Makoto, Yizan was her only support, and only Yizan's words could comfort her fragile heart. As Yizan continued to comfort, Makoto's cry gradually slowed down. She sobbed one after another, buried in Yizan's arms, and the tears completely soaked Yizan's clothes. Come on, Makoto, follow me to the back room to rest for a while. You've been crying for so long. No, Brother Zan, I want to accompany Grandpa on the last part of the road. I want to accompany Grandpa. He said this. Makoto's cries came out again. Yizan immediately hugged her, and his tone became more and more gentle. Makoto is here to accompany Grandpa. Brother Zan is with you. Okay, please don't cry. 203 now. Let your grandfather leave in peace. Tilda. Afterwards, Yizan ignored the strange gazes of the people in the room and actually accompanied Makoto to keep the spirit. During this period, no one dared to disturb or stop Yizan, including Uchiha Ida and Fugaku, who were all silent, treating Yizan as a transparent person. In their hearts, Shimura-zan is the young genius who killed Hanzo of the salamander. Even if he wants to deal with it, he can't deal with it in front of him, let alone in front of the 4 high-level leaders of Konoha. Yizan stayed in the Uchiha family to accompany Makoto. Of course Sarutobi, Danzo and the 2 advisors would not stay here. The 4 of them put on the incense, glanced at Yizan, and left the Uchiha family tacitly. Danzo sighed softly until he walked into the Hokage building and walked into a very secret small room. Then, the shielding barrier rose up, covering the 4 high-rise buildings. Elder Uchiha died. Uchiha Ida should be so excited now. After waiting for so long, the Uchiha clan will finally be unified. Humph. He waited for so long, but he didn't expect us to be waiting for him. Sarutobi, you don't have to defend Uchiha this time. Once the elder dies, the dove is over, and Uchiha's ambition will be completely released. 2 advisors. I support it too. Chapter 245_take Makoto_. As the first bloodstain in the ninja world, the Uchiha family is extremely powerful. Several years of war in the ninja world, Uchiha's elites have emerged one after another. Although there are no quasi-cage level powerhouses, Uchiha's 3 Tomo Sharingan Jonin and Elite Jonin have reached a very terrifying number. And the most important thing is that Uchiha's Ordinary Jonin, because of the 3 Tomo Sharingan bonuses, has a real combat power comparable to that of Elite Jonin. Uchiha's Elite Jonin belongs to the most powerful group in Konoha's Elite. Insight Eyes, Hypnotic Eyes, and Replica Eyes. Uchiha's ninjas have extremely strong demonic illusion attacks, invincible copying ability, and invincible insight ability. This seemingly unremarkable ability in the original book is actually very defying. For example, during the Chunin exam, Sasuke learned the physical skills that Lee Rock only learned in a few years, and it is easy to see through Lee Rock's attacks. Of course, these abilities are effective for Chunin and Jonin, but for more powerful people, it seems a little insufficient. But now the emphasis is not on 1-1. If the family defected, the Uchiha family would be wiped out, but Konoha would also suffer an unbearable price. I reminded you before, to destroy the Uchiha family before the war. After the baptism of the war, the strength of the Uchiha family has increased several times, raising tigers. Danzo, what you said is wrong. Without the Uchiha family, can Konoha stop the attack of the 3 kingdoms? Humph. Alright, stop arguing, the 2 of you have come to this point, let's discuss how to suppress the Uchiha clan. With the current strength of the Uchiha clan, it's best to use attrition tactics for 10 or even 20 years. Time will wear out Uchiha's strong men. It is absolutely impossible to destroy Uchiha directly. Konoha must preserve his strength and prevent the enemy from taking advantage of it. Support. Okay, let's discuss in this direction. Uchiha clan quietly. On the other side, Yizan had already helped Makoto back to her own bedroom. After crying all day, Xiaonizi's tears were almost dry, and her throat was almost hoarse. She clutched Yizan's clothes tightly, like a stray kitten that no one wanted, looking very pitiful. I've been crying for a day, are you thirsty? I'll go get you some water. Yizan pulled away, but her clothes were tightly held by Makoto. Looking at her crying face, Yizan came over again and gently wiped her cheek. My dear, I won't leave you, he said softly, and finally let Makoto let go of his hand a little. Yizan seized the opportunity, quickly poured a glass of water, ran back in an instant, and hugged Makoto lightly. Come on, drink water. Yizan held the glass to Makoto's mouth. Makoto leaned close obediently, drank it in small sips, and quickly drank the glass of water. Are you still drinking? Yizan asked. Makoto shook her head gently. She opened her mouth to say something, but finally closed her mouth and buried her head in Yizan's arms without making a sound. Hey. A week after the burial of the elder Uchiha, Makoto's mood finally recovered. He didn't fully recover either, but after a week of enlightenment and company by Yizan, he got better. The death of his only relative, it makes no sense for Makoto to stay in the Uchiha family. Yizan thought about it and decided to take Makoto to live at home. You want to take Uchiha Makoto home? Well, what, is there a problem? In Shimura's study, Yizan was a little puzzled, and it was not difficult to pick Makoto home. It's not a problem, it's just. Danzo frowned and said slowly, a week ago, Sarutobi and I and 2 advisors decided to target the Uchiha family and suppress them. However, since the end of the Ninja World War, Uchiha's strength has increased several times, and Makoto is the great elder after all. Granddaughter, I want to take her out. The patriarch's lineage will definitely not agree. Disagree. Humph. Are they still fighting Makoto's idea? Yizan angrily angered him. Seeing his son's unwillingness to give up, Danzo was silent for a while, and finally nodded. Uchiha Makoto is his future daughter-in-law no matter what. If he can't even do this, Shimura Danzo will be sorry for his name. That's it. Tomorrow morning, go and pick Makoto back. Don't worry about anything. Don't be afraid to ruin my plan with Sarutobi. Do whatever you want, I'm here when something happens. After Danzo finished speaking domineeringly, he turned his hand and patted Yizan's head gently. Seeing the smile on Yizan's face, a smile appeared on the corner of his mouth. Heaven and earth are big, and he is not as big as his precious son. If he can't even fulfill his son's requirements, he will be the leader of the root, and he will be in vain. Picking up Makoto home, no one knew what the reaction of the Uchiha clan's lineage was, and how strong the reaction was. Early the next morning, Yizan came to the Uchiha family. He walked straight through the downtown area of the gathering place, walked into the great elder's mansion, and woke up Makoto, who was still in a daze. Makoto tilde. Well, brother Zan. Makoto yawned like a kitten and rubbed her eyes, then she opened her hand and hugged Yizan's neck directly. Brother Zan. Makoto, brother Zan came to see you today, it's something very important tilde. What's the matter? I just want to take you to live in my house. Think about it, Kushina, Konan, Mawako and the others are all in my house. It's not fun for you to stay in the Uchiha family by yourself. Why don't you live in my house? It's so lively. Yizan squeezed Makoto's face gently, making Makoto a little shy. Since her grandfather died, she has no relatives in Uchiha. She thought about it and felt that it was really boring to be alone in Uchiha, and finally nodded and agreed. Yizan's suggestion. Then brother Zan, how long are we going? Go now. Now, then wait, I'll pack up, brother Zan, wait for me for a few minutes. Makoto quickly packed up, a few dolls, some clothes, and Makoto quickly put away. Brother Zan, I've got it. Well, let's go. Chapter 246-I would. Yizan and Makoto walked out of the great elder's mansion. Along the way, they attracted the attention of many Uchiha people, and just as they were about to leave the Uchiha settlement. Stop! A loud roar, a large number of Uchiha elites poured out and surrounded Yizan. Shimura-zan, where do you want to take Uchiha Makoto? Uchiha Fugaku's tone was gloomy, and his eyes were full of cruelty when he looked at Yizan. He wanted to deal with Yizan for a long time, but because of the strength and power to deal with, he couldn't deal with it at all. Today is different. When he heard the news that Yizan took Uchiha Makoto to leave, he immediately informed his father, "You must know that Makoto is the granddaughter of the great elder. Family. Take Makoto away. Don't even think about it." Uchiha Ida immediately dispatched with his son and a large group of masters in the clan, and intercepted Yizan when Yizan was about to leave the gathering place. Uchiha Ida, Uchiha Fugaku, what's the matter with me? Yizan squeezed Makoto's hand and exerted a little force. He gave Makoto a comforting look, his eyes were calm and confident. 350. Infected by Yizan's self-confidence, Makoto's fearful emotions disappeared instantly. She stood silently beside Yizan without saying a word, as if she was a gentle wife. No matter what happened, she followed Yizan without complaining. Yizan held Makoto and Uchiha Ida against each other, neither of them said a word, and it was unknown how long it took. Uchiha Ida's eyes flickered, and his tone was solemn with a murderous aura. Shimura-zan, Uchiha Makoto is a member of our family, you are so silent. Taking Makoto away loudly, do you despise our Uchiha clan too much? He deliberately brought the matter to the entire Uchiha clan, and even used the words, "look down," to arouse the self-esteem of the surrounding clan. As the strongest family in the ninja world, your own family is actually looked down upon. Not even if you were Shimura-gen, who is famous in the ninja world. Large number of Jonins and elite Jonins surrounded Yizan, and the terrifying atmosphere was intertwined around him. He wanted to suppress Yizan from the momentum, but Yizan just sneered disdainfully, and a blue wind gradually appeared on his body. Uchiha Ida, do you think I'll be scared by doing this? It's just wrong. Yizan raised his head slightly, and his attitude was extremely arrogant. You thought I would be afraid, but in fact, you were afraid of me. You were afraid that I would use force to take Makoto away, and with the strength of your father and son, you are no match for me at all. That's why you arouse the self-esteem of the ninjas around you and let them standing on the same front as you and fighting against me, am I right in my analysis? Yizan's words made Uchiha Ida's face change slightly. He knew that Yizan was very smart, and he couldn't say Yizan in words. Thinking of this, he took a step forward, chakra broke out, and Yuhi's 3 tomo flashed fiercely. Shimura-san, I know you like Makoto, but the Uchiha family has not allowed intermarriage with foreigners since ancient times. I can't accept your behavior. Leave Makoto, otherwise don't blame me. Don't blame anything. Uchiha Ida, do you still dare to do something to my son? The low voice was cold and fierce. At that moment, hundreds of black shadows appeared at the top of the surrounding buildings, and the terrifying murderous aura bloomed, causing the hundreds of Uchiha tribes below to turn on Sharingan at the same time, and everyone's face appeared cautious and solemn. Shimura Danzo. Huh. Sound. Danzo appeared beside Yizan. He stared at Uchiha Ida with a deep face, and his voice carried unscrupulous domineering. My son is going to take people away, and whoever dares to stop me, I will kill him. Shimura Danzo. Are you crazy? Uchiha Ida's eyes widened in disbelief. In his heart, Danzo is a guy who focuses on interests, but today's performance. Hundreds of root members are not afraid of life and death, but the Uchiha people are gradually retreating. You Uchiha Ida stopped Makoto, we still don't know why. Isn't it just for marriage? But even if we don't get married, it will be a matter of time before we regain the Dove faction. It's just that the time will be many years later, but it won't make fun of everyone's life. This is a root that has no humanity and is not afraid of life and death. When it comes to fighting, it is definitely a lose-lose ending. Lord Patriarch, a Uchiha Jonin said, looking at Ida with an unfriendly look, fighting against the Shimura family for a little girl, my life is not so cheap. Yes, the Patriarch, although Uchiha Makoto is the granddaughter of the Chief Elder, but now that the Chief Elder is dead, it doesn't make much sense to leave her granddaughter, let them go. Another Jonin also persuaded. The words of the two ninjas made the surrounding clansmen realize, and after a while, several Jonins began to persuade them. It was obvious that they did not want to get involved in this personal conflict. The sudden infighting of the Uchiha clan made Danzo narrow his eyes slightly. He paid special attention to the two Uchiha Jonin who spoke first, with a faint smile on the corner of his mouth. Of Uchiha Ida, the aura of cohesion has been completely broken, and more clansmen are unwilling to participate in private conflicts, while Uchiha Ida himself, seemingly expressionless, has already retreated in his heart. Although the Uchiha family experienced the baptism of World War II, their overall strength has increased several times, but compared with the huge group of Konoha, they are still too weak. If Uchiha and Konoha go to war, half of Konoha is killed, and Uchiha will be destroyed by Konoha. Danzo's meaning is already obvious. For his beloved son, anything can be done, and these roots are inhuman killing machines. No matter how unreasonable Danzo's orders are, they will do their best to implement them. You know, Danzo is Konoha's second in command, and a fight between Uchiha and Danzo is tantamount to rebellion. At that time, there is no other way to go except to rebel to the end. Thinking about this, Uchiha Ida finally flinched. He glanced at Makoto, then at Danzo. His tone was extremely serious. I can let Uchiha Makoto leave, but Uchiha has never allowed intermarriage with foreigners. If Uchiha Makoto leaves the family, she will no longer be one of our Uchihas. Uchiha Makoto, you. I do. Chapter 247-celebrate. Danzo, you are so impulsive. In the back room of the Hokage building, the four high-rises sit opposite each other. The face of Sarutobi's rebuke. Danzo just raised his eyelids slightly, and Sarutobi bit Kiba with his light-hearted look. Aren't you going to explain? Explain what? Danzo raised his eyelids again, took a sip from the teacup, and Sarutobi's leisurely look made Sarutobi even more uncomfortable. What to explain? Ha! What did you say you should explain? I only made a strategy last week to slowly wear down Uchiha's power, but today, you actually pulled the whole route to Uchiha to go all out. If Uchiha Ida really went crazy, what to do with you? No, Uchiha Ida will not go crazy. Compared with the entire Uchiha family, this kind of insult will not make him too angry. Danzo slapped his mouth and nodded with satisfaction. You tea nice, where did you buy it? Don't change the subject. Oh, let's get down to business, where did you get the tea? Bastard Danzo, I told you not to change the subject. Tea was given to me by Ryujiro Teama. Suga, it was my Xiaoshuan who protected him to go to the tea country to become a new name. Why didn't he send some to my family? Seeing that Danzo seemed to be chatting with old friends, Sarutobi reluctantly held his forehead and looked at the two advisors. I don't care, you guys. Sarutobi was sulking. Danzo was happy. He smiled, and slowly revealed the truth in the suspicious eyes of the two advisors. You guys think my behavior today is very impulsive, but I actually did it on purpose. I just want to see how Uchiha's cohesion is. Moreover, I found some breakthroughs today, which may be able to kill Uchiha's power faster. Oh. 4 high-level executives began to conspire again, and on the Shimura's side, the lights were brightly decorated, and there was joy. Welcome to Makoto. Cheers. Quote. In Shimura's restaurant, the girls took care of Makoto. Compared with Kushina and Konan's quietness when they checked in, Yizan specially threw a banquet for Makoto's check-in. Grandpa passed away and was expelled from the family. Makoto suffered a great blow. Fortunately, Yizan was there. Seeing Yizan trying so hard to make herself happy, a smile finally appeared on Makoto's face. She gulps down the orange juice and almost choked because of her happiness. Slow down, no one will steal your orange juice, little idiot Tilda. Yizan fondly rubbed Makoto's hair, making Makoto's face turn to Yuhi in shame. HMPH. The stinky hooligan is so abhorrent. When my sister and I came here, we were not treated like this. Kushina snorted softly and drank the orange juice in one gulp, her big eyes full of discomfort. Boo. While Kushina wasn't paying attention, Yizan immediately kissed her on the lips. The sudden attack made Kushina feel ashamed and angry, so he raised his hand and squeezed towards Yizan's waist. Ah, smelly woman, let go. It's okay to let go, unless you promise me a request. What request? The request is, to celebrate Makoto's stay, we will kill ninjas all night tonight and fight until dawn. Ah, Konan's face changed, his little nose wrinkled instantly, here again. Sister, this is not a celebration of Makoto at all. You are here to fulfill your own wishes. Mawako couldn't help but complain, raised her hand and tapped Kushina. The girls complained, and even Yizan covered his forehead. Kushina is good at everything, but he especially likes playing Ninja Kill, and often pulls everyone to play. Humph. What? It's great for everyone to have fun together. Makoto, you say, do you want to play? Finding that everyone was unwilling, Kushina slammed on Makoto and hugged Makoto's arm coquettishly. She blinked her big eyes, and she was extraordinarily cute. Play. Makoto glanced at Yizan cautiously, and nodded softly after finding that Yizan had no objection. Makoto is the protagonist of the day. She spoke, and everyone no longer objected. Kushina urged everyone to finish the meal quickly, and then hurriedly pulled Makoto to the lounge. Stinky hooligans sit next to Makoto, Konan sits here. Kushina pointed out everyone's position carelessly. She deliberately stayed away from Yizan, and said with a proud face, Makoto, Konan, you are working hard tonight, you must be on guard. Smelly hooligans bully you, he. Said to play all night, really played all night. At 5 o'clock in the morning, the sky was bright. Danzo came home a little tired, and unexpectedly found that everyone was playing cards around the coffee table. Yo, are you still playing? Yeah, today we celebrate Makoto's stay, and kill ninjas all night. Yizan half squinted his eyes and looked drowsy, but the other girls were elated and in good spirits. Oh, by the way, Xiaoshuan, Orochimaru sent a message to Hokage's office in the middle of the night. looking for you. It seems to be related to Kakuzu. Since you are not sleeping, let's go and have a look. Danzo's words suddenly awakened Yizan. He quickly wiped his face and temporarily subsided his sleepiness. Has Kakuzu's question been successful? Hey, I'll take a look. You call first. I'll be back in a while. Mental torture of the ninja killing. Yizan ran out of the house in a hurry. He yawned tiredly, and after walking a few steps, he was dragged to the ground. He swayed left and right for a long time, finally turned around and walked towards the other side of the street. I'm so tired. Yizan kept yawning. His eyes were more than half closed. I'd better not go to Orochimaru and Kakuzu. Go to Tsunade's house to sleep first. These stinky women are killing me. Now. Yizan dragged his tired body and staggered to Tsunade's house, and slammed the door a few times. After waiting for a long time, he saw Tsunade wearing a pajamas opening the door, and only after finding that Yizan was outside, did he open the door. The door let Yizan in. Little pervert, don't sleep at home, what are you doing with me? It's only 5 o'clock in the morning. Tsunade closed the door in annoyance, and wanted to say more. Yizan threw himself into her arms. Wife, don't talk about it, I'm going to sleep. I fought a ninja all night, I'm going to sleep. Chapter 248-Gululu. Yizan slept until the afternoon before waking up. The sun in Konoha's early summer is not too harsh, and the soft light sprinkles in the bedroom, with a feeling of laziness. Yizan yawned lazily, slapped his mouth a few times, and pulled out the bed cover blankly, and a scent of fragrance came into the bedroom from the living room. He sniffed, and his stomach growled with hunger. Baby wife, I'm hungry. Yizan shouted towards the living room, and after a while, Tsunade's figure appeared at the door of the bedroom. She was wearing a drowsy pink yui color. Her blonde hair was casually placed on her head, no makeup, but her face was flawless. Little pervert, get up now that you're awake, and make a mess of my bed, I hate it. I'm here to make you hate Tilda. Yizan smiled lazily, like a big slacker. As soon as he got up, he tidied up the shop, and hugged Tsunade with a smile. Wife, kiss. Don't. It stinks. Go brush Kiba first. Tsunade gently pushed Yizan away and escorted him into the washroom. Then she returned to the living room with a few plates of side dishes on the dining table. This was her first time cooking, and she didn't know why. When Yizan slept in, she went to the vegetable market to buy a few vegetables, and planned to give this little pervert some surprises. Yizan was really surprised. When he came to the living room from the washroom and found several dishes on the dining table, his eyes widened, as if he had encountered something incredible. You fried it. Tilda. Oh. Yizan took a careful look at Tsunade, and found that Tsunade held his hands cutely. Yizan finally swallowed, picked up chopsticks tremblingly, and put a vegetable in his mouth. The taste is not bad. Yizan was a little surprised. Under Tsunade's proud eyes, he took a bite of every dish. Okay. Is this really your first time doing it? Of course. If it wasn't for you, I wouldn't cook. Tsunade raised his chin proudly, as if he had found something, and immediately shut up. A dizzy smear of yui appeared on his pretty face. Little pervert, I just made a slip of the tongue. I'm not for you. I'm hungry and I'm cooking for myself. Oh, I'm hungry to cook for myself. Yizan nodded clearly, but looked at Tsunade with a sly look. It turns out that my Tsunade baby wasn't specially made for me, so sad. Eat yours. Talking so much. Tsunade flicked Yizan lightly, stood up, and jumped to the windowsill, obviously in a good mood. Oh yes, I'm going to Orochimaru's place in a while. What's wrong? Kakuzu, I don't know how Orochimaru's research is going. I'll take a look. How about you? What are you going to do? Me, I don't know. Why don't I wait for you at home? Wait for me. Well, I'm going to buy some food and continue cooking for you at night. Tilda. Tsunade turned to look at Yizan. She had her hands behind her back, and her face was yuhi-yuhi, with a rare little woman smell. Tsunade, you know what, you're committing a crime. Hee, little bastard, come and offend me tilde. Gulululu, you brought it on yourself. Tsunade hard, Yizan stomped to Orochimaru's laboratory. Kakuzu seemed to be discussing something with Orochimaru in a low voice, and looking at Kakuzu's posture, it seemed that his depression had been relieved. Hi, Orochimaru, Kakuzu, Yizan greeted the two of them and walked over. How's the research on Dikyu? I'm still researching, and I'm already looking forward to it. It is indeed a secret technique that can last forever. At my level, it will take 2 years to fully repair Kakuzu's body. I just don't know. Can you wait? Orochimaru said in a low voice. The hoarse voice had a hint of inexplicable meaning. Needless to say, I don't exist and can't wait. It's all up to Kakuzu himself. Kakuzu, are you willing to wait? I don't care. Time is the least valuable in my eyes. Kakuzu shrugged, rarely pretending to be coercive. This is already a very good thing for depressed patients. Yizan and Orochimaru have different personalities, and there is nothing to talk about. He chatted with Kakuzu a few words, and finally patted Kakuzu on the shoulder and left the laboratory. It was not until the door of the laboratory was closed that Orochimaru turned his head. He looked at Kakuzu stubbornly, his brown snake pupils shone with a hint of doubt and coldness. Kakuzu, you won the bet this time. I'm curious, you must have only met Shimura-san, right? Why are you sure that Shimura-san is willing to wait 2 years? Hee, because I can feel Shimura-san's sincerity towards people. He is different from you. He is a happy person. He treats me sincerely and doesn't take advantage of me. So he is willing to waste 2 years of his time letting you to treat my body. Maybe you never know, Shimura-san's purpose is just to hope that my body will recover and I can find a wife in Konoha to get married and have children. What? He is willing to waste 2 years waiting for you to recover just to let you, superficially, return to a normal human body, just to let you marry a wife and have children. So you are different from him. Shimura-san told me that family, friendship, and love are the most precious things in this world. I didn't understand it before, but now I. Kakuzu closed his mouth halfway through his words, his eyes gleaming, a gleam of new life after the death of despair. But now, I seem to understand what is friendship. 4.3, thank you, Shimura-san. Yizan had no idea that his actions had moved Kakuzu. He came to Might-'s house and the door was opened by a woman in her 20s. Are you, Xiao-san? Hey, do you know me? I'm Dai's wife. Dai has been talking about you all this time, please come in. Dai and I have always wanted to thank you for the supplements you sent before tilde. After the woman finished speaking, Might Dai also came out of the bedroom. He handed the baby in his hand to the woman's hand, and gave Yizan a thumbs up happily, looking very happy. Xiao-san, thank you for your supplements. My wife's body has finally recovered. In order to repay you, I decided to accompany you to run 50 laps around Konoha every day from today. Chapter 249 huge change. Practice, play, practice, play. Yeergu's demonic life soon passed 2 years. 2 years may seem like a long time, but in the eyes of Yizan, who is happy every day, it seems like it was just yesterday. In the past 2 years, Yizan's physical fitness has become stronger and stronger, and his height and chakra volume have also experienced a blowout growth. If it was said that 2 years ago, Yizan only reached Tsunade's neck, then now, Yizan has surpassed Tsunade by more than half of his head, growing to about 1.71 meters. Not only that, since he is still in the explosive stage of his body growth, Yizan will continue to grow taller as time goes on. As for how much he grows to 1.8 meters, I don't know. Yizan is now a little over 13 years old, and in 10 months, Yizan will be 14 years old. I don't know if it's the influence of the transmigrator or the effect of the fruit's ability, but Yizan's, some aspect, development has not shown any effect, which makes him anxious, thinking that he was born with impotence. Fortunately, Konoha has Tsunade with superb medical skills. She carefully inspected Yizan's bones and body and found that Yizan is a late development. Compared with boys who can be hard at the age of 11-30-12, Yizan is about 13 to 14 years old. Will mature. Ridiculed by Tsunade for the past 2 years. Today is the graduation season. The students in the lower grades are still studying hard, and the students in the 6th grade have started their graduation exams. Compared with the harshness of the war years and Yizan's super difficult cramming style education, the current graduation examination is extremely simple. It only needs to draw lots and use the 3-body technique well to pass the test. Needless to say, Yizan's friends, even the laziest Shikaku has the strength of an elite genin. A group of people passed the graduation exam with ease. In order to celebrate that everyone officially became a ninja, they moved the grill to move the grill, and bought vegetables. After half an hour, they gathered in a familiar place, beside a remote and uninhabited river. Hey, Might Dai, are you taking your son to practice? Yes, this uninhabited river is not only a gathering place for everyone, but also a training place for Yizan and Might Dai. I don't know since when, Might Dai took a kappa-headed cub to practice together. This cub is the future Might Dai. Might Dai is more than 2 years old, with thick eyebrows, a kappa head, and wearing a green tight training suit handed down from ancient times by the Might family. His training is very simple, that is, jogging, doing some squats, etc., without harming the body. Because Might Dai and Yizan have been practicing together for a long time, he and his friends have also become friends. Although Dai is an adult with children and a wife, his personality is very funny and he gets along with everyone very happily. The friends arrived. Might Dai also stopped practicing. He wiped his sweat with a towel, trotted over to set up the grill for everyone, and Kushina and Makoto were playing with Guy. Hee. Guy, do you want to eat grilled fish for a while? Kushina kept pinching Might Guy's face. He was over 2 years old and he was very cute. I want to eat it. I want to eat grilled fish. Might Guy sucked in his saliva. He couldn't help drooling when he thought of the fragrant and golden grilled fish. Want to eat? You call sister, and I'll invite you to eat. Sister Kushina, I want to eat grilled fish tilde. Ha ha ha, and Makoto didn't shout. Beauty, Makoto's sister, I want to eat grilled fish tilde. The 2 women kept teasing Might Guy, until Yizan came back with some wood. Kushina let go of Guy and threw himself into Yizan's arms. Oops, idiot, you've lost all the wood. Yizan put his arms around Kushina with one hand and barely held half of the wood with the other. He was very strong, and dragged Kushina to the grill. Just throw the wood away. Stinky hooligan, I want to eat grilled fish. Kushina kept coquettish. Yuhi's long hair was very bright in the sun. In 2 years, Kushina and Makoto have also grown up, and they are so watery that people can't help but want to take a bite. Judging from the age of Kushina and Makoto happens to be the age of Naruto Sakura and others at the beginning of the original Hokage. Sakura, who debuted in the original book. Kushina is still a petty temperament. Not only did she not settle down in the past 2 years, but she became more and more lively, and she especially liked to act like a spoiled child around Yizan. Makoto is gentle as water, elegant and beautiful. In 2 years, she has come out of the grief of her grandfather's death. Although she will miss him, she is also praying that he will have a good life in heaven, with more and more smiles on her face. Where's Conan? Might Dai asked suspiciously when Conan wasn't there. Conan went to Jiraiya to train today. She went to practice the joint strike with her 2 buddies, so today it's just us guys. Minato, go catch fish. Yizan shouted not far away. Minato and Mawako, who were leaning against each other, were startled and separated in a hurry. Minato ran to the surface with Yuhi's face and almost fell into the water. Minato, be careful, Mawako 037 said worriedly. Minato looked back with a bright smile, and at that moment, Yizan didn't want to care. Kushina, look at your sister. Minato is so strong, and you're still worried about him falling into the water. Cut. Haven't you heard that women are idiots in front of love? Kushina lightly poked Yizan with the tip of her finger. She suddenly felt very happy, and jumped onto Yizan's body all of a sudden, wrapping her hands around Yizan's neck, like a koala. In the past 2 years, many things have changed. For example, Yizan's height and length have made Kushina hang in the air. Snapped. Ah, nasty. Kushina's face was Yuhi, and she jumped from Yizan's body suddenly. Her ass butt was hit by Yizan, which made her feel very shy. The flames rose, the grill was brushed with oil, and the black pill was still small, standing on Inazuka's paw, watching Yamanaka Inoichi drooling continuously. Wow! It called out to Inoichi in a hurry, and Inoichi took out a bag of dog food from his arms without expression. Compared with other food, Heiwan prefers to eat oil that has been brushed with black pepper and cumin. Lumpy dog food. Inoichi, I think it's time for you to find a girlfriend. Ah, I think. Chapter 250 _ The Heat of Hell Heaven E. Hey, did you hear that? Hell Heaven, the second part is out. In many corners of Konoha, some people gathered in 2s and 3s, some ninjas and some civilians, all men, and everyone had a wretched expression on their faces. What? The second volume is out. God has eyes. God has eyes. I've waited for 2 years, and finally the second volume is out. A civilian took out a very shabby fan Yuhi from his arms. The erotic books, which he bought from others at a high price 2 years ago, are like treasures. Jiro, your body is about to collapse, are you still watching? What do you know? This is a masterpiece. Let's go. Go and buy the second one. I'm going to buy it too. Large number of people rushed towards the Konoha bookstore, and in the Hokage office, Sarutobi was busy working, but if you look carefully, you can see that Sarutobi's eyes are shining, and there is a brand new pink Yuhi book hidden in the pile of documents. Hell Heaven 2 is indeed the genius Shaozan, and only Shaozan can write such a masterpiece. Can't stand the entanglement of the little girl Kushina. After 2 years, Yizan published the book Hell Paradise 2. Aoki Paradise, again. This time, Yizan decided to create hunger marketing, compared to the first 10,000 books. This time only 1,000 copies were released. Sarutobi was bribed in advance, and all actions were completed under the condition of confidentiality and swiftness. If anyone dared to pirate, Sarutobi would send Anbu to arrest them mercilessly. In Sarutobi's words, it is everyone's responsibility to protect the genuine copy. This store is the only selling point of Hell Paradise 2. Aoki Paradise, and each copy is priced at 30,000. At the author's request, each person is only allowed to buy 1 copy. If the ninjas who use the transformation technique want to be scalpers, please respect yourself. Once I find out, I will report to Lord Hokage directly, and the consequences will be at your own risk. Quote. The shop owner didn't just say it verbally, he really asked people from the Konoha sealing class to set up a seal array at the door of the store, specifically to break the transformation technique. This kind of seal array is very low level, and the shop owner spent a lot of money. Konoha ninjas are organized, and the seal class readily accepts them, which also makes those ninjas who want to be scalpers have no choice but to give up this plan. Since the first part attracted a lot of fans, when the news of the second part came out, there were already more than 2,000 people in front of the bookstore. Civilians and ninjas, including Jiraiya, were also caught in the middle, chatting with a few elite jonin in a low voice, wait in line. For an entire hour, I finally arrived at Jiraiya and the elite jonins in front of them. Several elite jonins paid for books in turn. When it was Jiraiya's turn, something went wrong. Excuse me, are you Mr. Jiraiya? The shop owner had seen Jiraiya's portrait, but in order to avoid admitting his mistake, he still specifically asked. Yes, what's wrong? Jiraiya blinked, and for some reason, a bad feeling rose in her heart, especially the crowd in line behind, all looking at herself with weird eyes, making him uncomfortable. Sorry, Mr. Jiraiya, the author said that this book can be sold to anyone in Konoha, but it can't be sold to you, he said. Seeing Jiraiya's wide eyes, the shop owner was a little scared, but he thought about it dozens of times. The pure prophet, he swallowed, and finally got the courage to say Yizan's original words. The author said, Jiraiya is stupid, and idiot, not selling it to you. Asshole. Teacher Sarutobi, you have to call the shots for me. In Hokage's office, Jiraiya pouted and looked unhappy. He vowed to find the author of the book. You know, because of the Yuhi fire of this book, his Jiraiya name is becoming more and more Yuhi. All Konoha knows about the crazy ghost Jiraiya, because the author's name is, Jiraiya is a big idiot, which also makes Jiraiya the laughing stock of many people. Jiraiya wants Sarutobi to call the shots for him, but Sarutobi can't. Taking Yizan's bribe, if he dared to reveal it, the entire Hokage building would be overturned by Yizan. Thinking of this, Sarutobi moved his arm and pushed the brand new Hell Paradise 2 feet deeper into the File Mountain, making sure that Jiraiya couldn't see it, and then slowly said, Jiraiya, although I am your teacher, I am also Konoha. The Hokage, the rules, the system, everything needs to be followed. As a Hokage, I must protect the privacy of any civilian. Jiraiya, it's hard for me too. Sarutobi refused, making Jiraiya even more aggrieved, and at this moment, the door of Hokage's office was pushed open again. Yizan, Tsunade, and 7 Jonin filed in, 3 elite Jonin standing in front, 4 ordinary Jonin standing behind. Yizan took Tsunade to his own sofa. Seeing so many people coming together, Sarutobi remembered that today was Genin's grouping day. He gave Jiraiya a reproachful look and put his hands on a crystal ball. After a while, the crystal ball appeared. Grade 6, Ninja School. Mr. Duanmu was standing on the podium, holding a piece of paper in his hand with his name written all over it. Hair Arena, Aoki Takako, Fujisaki Yayoi, the first class. Nara Shikaku, Akamichi Choza, Yamanaka Inoichi, the third shift. Namikaze Minato, Uzumaki Mawako, Inazuka Claw, 4th class. The 5th class. 6th class. Teacher Duanmu kept reciting, until he read the last group. He paused slightly, and his tone was a little puzzled. Uzumaki Kushina, Uchiha Makoto, 10th class. Teacher Duanmu, are you mistaken? Why are there only 2 of us? Kushina asked in confusion. Teacher Duanmu shrugged and said that he didn't know. At this moment, in the Hokage office, the 7 Jonins had left, and they had accepted the order, and Sarutobi would randomly assign them to these genin to be their instructors. Jiraiya, the Namikaze Minato group will be handed over to you, okay? Tisk, a genius, a Kyubi, Ninetales, Jinchuriki, column force, a little girl from the Inazuka clan. Mr. Sarutobi, you have given me a lot of pressure. No problem. Then, Nara Shikaku and the others, who will bring them? Let me bring it. A young voice suddenly sounded from outside the office door, and in the eyes of everyone, a man in his 20s walked in. Chapter 251-grouping. Who are you? The visitor is 20 years old and looks relatively young, with a hint of rebelliousness between his brows, like a wild horse, free from any restraints. Brother Jiraiya, I haven't seen you for many years, don't you recognize me? The man smiled, his eyes softened when he looked at Jiraiya, and when the words, Brother Jiraiya, were uttered, Jiraiya's pupils shrank sharply, with a look of disapproval on his face. Confident expression. You are, Shinosuke. Damn, I haven't seen you for so many years, and I've grown so big. If you don't tell me, I don't even know you at all. Jiraiya laughed and gave each other a big hug. The relationship between the two was obviously very good. Even if they had not seen each other for many years, they became familiar in an instant. Jiraiya for a while, the young man finally looked at Sarutobi, but when he looked at Sarutobi, his soft gaze disappeared, and instead there was a trace of resentment and displeasure. This time I came back, just to fulfill the responsibility of the Sarutobi family. I brought Ino Shikacho to Chunin, and when they can stand alone, I will go back to the daimyo. Oh yes, I heard. My brother has already been born. When he mentioned his younger brother, his tone finally softened. Sarutobi sighed softly, and nodded silently. The weird atmosphere made Yizan and Tsunade look at each other. From the conversation between the three, it can be seen that this person should be Sarutobi's eldest son, Sarutobi Shinosuke. Yi Shuenkai was too lazy to take care of Sarutobi's family affairs, and he didn't like Sarutobi's Shinosuke's character very much. As for Sarutobi Shinosuke, of course he has heard of Yizan's name, but he just glanced at Yizan without saying a word, turned and left the Hokage office and walked towards the ninja school. Humph! What are you pulling? If it wasn't for my self-cultivation in recent years, with just the look in your eyes, I would have beaten you to the ground with one punch. Yizan pouted angrily, making Sarutobi a little embarrassed. He was really afraid that Yizan would beat up his eldest son when he got angry. Although Shinosuke was an elite Jonin, he couldn't stand Yizan's lesson. He. Shaozan, don't be angry, Shinosuke is just like this, he is naive, let him, ordered Tilda. Huh, dead monkey, I'm only 13 years old, your son is 20 years old, and you want me to let him? You're smart, you're Konoha's genius Shaoshuan, and Shinosuke is too stupid, so don't bother with him Tilda. Sarutobi begged bitterly. After all, he was his own son. If he was maimed by the lawless Yizan, he would be reluctant to bear it. As for Yizan, it doesn't matter, anyway, he won't have too much contact with this person in the future. In the crystal ball, the ninjas who had just entered the office one by one entered the 6th grade Class A to lead their group, but Jiraiya was not in a hurry. He glanced at Tsunade and Yizan, wondering who Kushina and Makoto belonged to. Be an instructor. Okay, the last group. Shaoshuan, this is what you asked for yourself. Who are you going to let them be their instructors? Myself. What? You? Sarutobi was stunned, and then suddenly realized that this stinky boy was with the girl in the name of the instructor, and he didn't have to do those difficult tasks. It was a smart plan to take it easy. Stinky boy, you're smart. But, according to the Konoha system, the ninja team must be in groups of 3, you. Humph, dead monkey, I've already figured it out. The last member of my coaching team is Conan. Shimura's house, Conan's face is not very good. Ooh, Conan, my lovely Conan, my dear Conan, just promise me, come to my team. Yizan hugged Conan and kept coquettish. He buried his head in Conan's hair and drilled go. Conan's unique lily-like fragrance makes him feel refreshed. But, it was said before that Yahiko Nagato and I went to the Land of Rain to develop the organization, and now you are like this. Conan hesitated. She has been practicing with Jiraiya most of the time recently. 3 have been in Konoha for 3 years, and Jiraiya feels that the strength of the 3 is enough to protect themselves in the country of rain, and then slowly develop a new organization. No, Conan, I regret it. I can't bear you to suffer in the country of rain. Yahiko and Nagato are enough, Conan, woo-woo. Yizan was holding Conan in a fake cry. His chin was on Conan's shoulder, and he happened to see Kushina on the sofa. That Yizan was fake crying, Kushina threw a Byakugan in disdain, and Yizan gave Kushina a boom, with a smirk on his face. Cut, I can't bear. Kushina whispered and found that Yizan was staring at her. She was a little puzzled, and following Yizan's gaze, she found that the other party was staring at her skirt. It really is a stinky hooligan. She looked at Yuhi all over her face, quickly closed her legs, just spread the book on her legs, and happened to be seen by Yizan at the scenery in her skirt. I'll teach you a lesson later. She waved her paw viciously, indicating that Yizan must look good. Yizan and Kushina were quietly making small movements, but Conan didn't notice it. Being hugged by Yizan, she was a little shy, and besides being shy, she was also very tangled and hesitant. In the end, should I go to the Land of Rain with Nagato Yahiko's 2 partners to develop, or should I join Yizan's guidance team? One side is friendship, the other side is inexplicable feelings. and this inexplicable feeling made Conan hard to let go, especially Yizan was reluctant to let himself go no matter how he hugged him, so she gradually did not want to leave. Teacher, if you don't leave, what about Yahiko and Nagato? We promised them before. Conan's somewhat compromising tone instantly made Yizan's eyes light up. He knew that as long as he added more fire, darling Conan would definitely stay. Conan, don't worry, I'll talk to Yahiko Nagato. The country of rain is bitter and tiring, I believe, they don't want you to suffer with them. Conan, don't forget, 3 years ago, why did I choose you as an apprentice? Why did you choose me as an apprentice? Conan's heart moved, and he finally recalled the original situation. Chapter 252-book. The next day, Conan officially joined Yizan's guidance team and became Makoto and Kushina's teammates. Yahiko Nagato has left Konoha and headed towards the land of rain. 3 years, they and Jiraiya developed deep feelings, but for the sake of ideals, to save the common people, and for world peace, Yahiko and Nagato resolutely embarked on the road to the land of rain. No matter how difficult it is, they will persevere. Go down. I want to change the country and build a bridge of hope to world peace. Nagato, what do you think? Our organization is called Akatsuki, how about that? Akatsuki. Nagato froze slightly, while Rinnegan shone suspiciously. Yahiko, why is it called Akatsuki? Because of Akatsuki, the first light that breaks the darkness of dawn. We, Akatsuki, will save the world and bring hope to the dark world. Yahiko and Nagato have dreams, and here, Jiraiya has just sent off 2 apprentices and welcomed a new student. Namikaze Minato, Uzumaki Mawako, Inuzuka Claw, the 3 friends are familiar with Jiraiya. After all, Jiraiya is also a friend of Yizan, and there is not much strangeness in contact. Mr. Jiraiya. Minato, Mawako, Xiaopa, haven't we seen each other in a few months tilde? How are you doing? Not bad, now that I have graduated, I am full of energy. Namikaze Minato smiled brightly, emitting a not weak chakra wave. Minato, your strength, have Chunin. Yes, not only me, but Mawako has become an elite Chunin, and Xiaopao also has the strength of an elite Genin. Minato's words made Jiraiya a little surprised, and he was a little accustomed to it. If he is a good friend of the stinky boy, a little genius is acceptable. Since everyone's strength is good, let's try to do some D-level tasks first. If possible, we will directly increase the difficulty of the tasks next week. Jiraiya is a person who teaches students according to their aptitude and does not stick to the rules. Under Jiraiya's teaching, the 3 of Minato will definitely make rapid progress. On the other hand, Yizan is lying on the sofa lazily. Makoto cut the apples, 1 bud and 1 bud feed it into his mouth. Hey, you rascal, didn't you say you're going to get a mission? What are you doing? Kushina wandered around the room a little irritably, and finally became a genin, ending the boring campus life, but now Yizan doesn't go to Lord Hokage to get a task. Even if it is a D-level task, it is better than boredom. Oh, why are you in a hurry? As the saying goes, you can't eat hot tofu in a hurry. Can't you just rest at home for a few days after graduation? Rest, humph, sloth. Ha, how dare you say I'm a slacker? Give it back to me in hell heaven too. When Yizan stretched out his hand, Kushina was stunned for a moment, and his eyes were a little dazed. What? Stop talking. Well, don't you want to do the task? As long as you return the book to me, I will take you to the task. Yizan spread his hands carelessly, but he didn't realize that Conan's little face on the other sofa was already visible to Yuhi. She kept winking at Kushina, but Kushina smiled wickedly and suddenly pointed her finger at Conan. Want a book? You asked Conan for it. I lent it to Conan not long ago. Circled.operator_circled.operator. As if hearing some incredible news, Yizan's eyes widened exaggeratedly. He turned his head to look at Conan, and found that Conan's face was full of Yuhi, and CCI was speechless. Conan, you Yizan got up and walked over, bent down, and put his head in front of Conan's eyes. It turns out that you are also a little pervert. No, Conan shook her head vigorously. She was just curious, sheer curiosity, by no means a little girl. I still don't admit it. You peeked 2 years ago, and now you blatantly asked Kushina to borrow it to see it. You still say no. No, Conan shook her head stubbornly, not admitting anything. Her face was yuhi, and she was about to faint from shyness. At this moment, Conan didn't realize that Yizan was getting closer and closer to her. When she finally realized that the distance between the two was too close, she suddenly leaned forward and pressed their lips together gently. Conan's eyes widened in surprise. Her brain was chaotic, the feeling coming from her mouth made her very comfortable. She didn't resist, she was foolishly thrown on the sofa by Yizan. Hey! With a soft cry, Conan realized that Yizan's hands were already swimming around her body. She was shocked. She supported Yizan with both hands, and pushed Yizan away with all her might. Yizan was a little surprised when Conan pushed him away. He didn't expect the lovely Conan to resist him one day. Sure enough, Loli hasn't succeeded in education yet. Conan kept sorting his clothes on the sofa. Yizan also lost the idea of continuing to bully Conan. He smacked his mouth in boredom, and finally stood up and raised his hands high. Everyone, go do the quest. If we don't do the quest we will die of poverty. Kushina, Makoto, Conan, go and do the quest. Yizan rushed out like an idiot. Kushina was helpless, and asked Makoto to appease Conan's emotions, and followed Yizan to leave the house. After a while, Conan's emotions calmed down, and Makoto took Conan's hand to go out, only to find that Yizan and Kushina disappeared. What about people? Probably go to the Hokage building. D-level tasks are nothing more than boring tasks such as weeding and cleaning up river rubbish. After a whole day of hard work, Kushina, Makoto and Conan completed 4D class missions in one go. I'll be here today, let's all disband. After Yizan finished speaking, he rushed over and kissed the 3 women's faces one by one, then turned around and disappeared without a trace. Humph! This stinky bastard must have gone to Tsunade. Sister Kushina, what do you say? You promised me before that you wouldn't tell the teacher about my reading of Xiao H books. This. Cough. Conan, today was an accident, I couldn't hold back. Humph. Chapter 253 finally grown up. The autumn wind in Konoha is a bit cool, and at 7 p.m., there are a few stars scattered in the night sky. Yizan staggered to the door of Tsunade's house, holding a bag of fried chicken and soju in his hand. He patted the door hard. Bang bang bang. Who is it? Crunch. The door opened a crack, and after seeing Yizan, Tsunade opened the room and let Yizan in. In the shower. Well, just finished washing, you wait first. Tsunade wrapped her hair in a towel. She was wearing a white and large nightgown. Yizan glanced quietly, it was a vacuum. Since Yizan is now taller than Tsunade, although his face is still a little immature, it is not as big as before. While Tsunade was wiping his head, he hugged Tsunade from behind, put his head up, and took a deep breath. Tone. Wife, you are so fragrant. Che, it's obviously the smell of shampoo, but with this kind of superficial sweet talk, do you still want to tease me? Tsunade twisted her body, but did not break free from Yizan's embrace. She simply stopped struggling, half leaned in Yizan's arms, did not speak, and quietly dried her hair like this. Few minutes later, Tsunade was about to change a towel, but Yizan hugged her tightly, preventing her from leaving. Why, the hair is not dry yet. I know, it's not bad Tilda. Yizan leaned into Tsunade's ear and blew lightly, causing Tsunade to tremble all over, and the strength that had finally appeared gradually softened. Little pervert, why are you crazy today? She said softly. Her tone was tender and angry. She turned her head halfway, raised her head, and looked at Yizan's chin from the corner of her eyes. I'm not crazy. Oh yes, let me tell you a very interesting thing. Today I quarreled with Kushina, and guess what? Kushina accidentally leaked Conan's secret. Conan's secret? What secret? Hee. Conan, I actually asked Kushina to borrow Hell Paradise 2 feet to see the little erotic girls now, one after another. Yizan slapped his lips and shook his head like an elder. His behavior attracted Tsunade spat lightly, and with a little force, broke free from Yizan's embrace. Bah, you are such a person, you get cheap and sell well. They don't let you make money, little pervert. Tsunade turned around. Even though his hair was still dry, he walked over to the coffee table and picked up the bag, which exuded a strong fragrance. Hey, isn't this fried chicken? Hey, new variety, honey and spicy chicken wings. Eat it once and you'll be addicted. So exaggerated. Tsunade didn't believe it or not, but the strong fragrance did make her salivate. She quickly opened the bag, took out the square plastic box inside, and opened it. At that moment, the strong fragrance intensified tenfold and filled the entire room. Wow, Tsunade yelled, eagerly picking up a piece of chicken wing and eating it. Then she narrowed her eyes happily, like a cute kitten. Delicious. Quote. Delicious, right, eat more if it's delicious tilde. Yizan sat next to Tsunade with a smile, staring at Tsunade like this, with a smile on the corner of his mouth. Tsunade is really super cute now. He kept eating like a kitten, squinting his eyes from time to time to savor, then opening his eyes to eat, occasionally making a squeak of good food. He watched Tsunade eat like this for 10 minutes, and finally, a box of chicken wings was eaten up. Well, so satisfying. Throwing away the last bone, Tsunade's face was covered with a lot of oil. She happily ran to the bathroom to wash up. After washing her face and hands, she jumped back. Little pervert, where did you find such delicious food? After she was full, she leaned lazily on Yizan's shoulder. Yizan raised his hand and took her directly into his arms. Hee, I called the owner of the barbecue shop to develop it. I know you like this type of food. Yizan smiled and kissed Tsunade. In his heart, this is very satisfying and can be eaten by the woman he loves. Have fun and be stronger than any victory and power. I hate it. It will please girls. Tsunade smacked Yizan lightly, raised his head with a happy face, and brought a kiss to Yizan's lips. One more time. Boo. Come again tilde. Boo. Hee, this time it's my turn. Yizan put one hand around Tsunade's neck, lowered his head, and kissed her on the lips fiercely. The two of them were reluctant to part with this kiss. Their lips were pressed against each other, and there was a slight snort from the nose from time to time. After a full 10 minutes, the two men parted breathlessly. Tsunade's face was full of Yuhi's dizziness, and water seemed to be dripping from his beautiful big eyes. Little bastard tilde. Little idiot tilde. Little bastard tilde. Hee. Tsunade happily buried his head in Yizan's arms, arched mischievously, suddenly got up, and pushed Yizan on the sofa. Little bastard, let's play a game. What game? No matter what I do, you are not allowed to move tilde. Huh. Yizan's eyes widened, and before he said anything, Tsunade leaned down and pressed his lips again. If you don't object, you agree. From now on, I'm only allowed to bully you, and you're not allowed to move. The black sky is getting deeper and deeper, and the sounds of the outside world are decreasing as time goes by. When the whole of Konoha fell silent, and even the street lights on the roadside started to turn off, the Tsunade's house also turned off the lights, and it was dark. On the sofa, Tsunade was leaning on Yizan, and in that 5.2 black world, Tsunade's little face became more and more Yuhi moist. Xiaoshuan, she whispered softly, her face Yuhi a little scared. Huh. That thing is giggling at me. You bastard, when did you grow up? Hee, just now, that, Tsunade. Huh. Be my wife. Quote. On the dark living room sofa, Yizan got up, moved outside, hugged Tsunade, and slowly put her down. There was a rustling sound, and the large nightgown fell to the ground, showing a pure white under the dim moonlight. 10 minutes later, with a cry of pain, a happy sonata sounded throughout the room. Chapter 254 Super Delicious Honey Spicy Chicken Wings. The early morning sun was very soft and somewhat warm. Yizan yawned and half opened his eyes. What caught his eye was Tsunade's flawless pretty face, long eyelashes, and Yuhi's face with traces of last night's madness. Thinking that he had fought hard for 3 hours for the first time, Yizan felt that his life was really perfect, and he had given him a strong body. If it wasn't for Tsunade, who was really dying, he would still be able to continue fighting. However, last night was still a bit too much. I suppressed my energy for more than 10 years, which made Yizan's self-control a little out of control. Tsunade was also the first time. If it wasn't for the physique of the Senju family, how could it withstand a 3-hour attack? Even so, Tsunade finally conceded defeat. Called, "Good brother, please, I was wrong," and other words to concede defeat, which made Yizan extremely proud. However, let's make something for Tsunade. Thinking of this, Yizan wanted to pull his arm away, but he made a slight movement, but he woke Tsunade. Awake. Tsunade half opened her eyes and looked at the little man in front of her. He wasn't even a little man, at least he was taller than herself. Thinking of this, she made 2 snarky noises, hugged Yizan, and put her head on Yi30. Xuanwei. Idiot, what are you laughing at? Hee, it's just laughing, it's just being happy, little pervert, I'm still in your hands in the end. She happily arched back and forth in Yizan's arms. Perhaps the movement was a bit big. She suddenly took a breath of air with a hiss, frowned slightly, and her face became bitter. Idiot. It hurt so long yesterday, and of course it hurts now. Quickly treat it with medical ninjutsu, or even your physique will not recover in a day. Tapped Tsunade lightly, but Tsunade hugged Yizan proudly. She shook her head vigorously, thief, and said nothing to heal. Little bastard, I'm not treating it. This is my first time, I have to remember this feeling. Even Tsunade is a young woman, and a woman is such an inexplicable animal, she would rather endure the pain below than treat it, just to remember that today, she gave her most precious things. To Yizan. Hey. For Tsunade's behavior, Yizan was moved and very distressed. He slapped Tsunade's butt hard, causing Tsunade to cry out in pain and look at Yizan with tears in his eyes. Idiot. Idiot. Big idiot. Little pervert. The two hugged each other tightly, talking about boring gossip like this, but life, isn't it like this? As long as you are with your loved one, no matter how boring you are, you will feel extremely happy. For example, at this moment, Tsunade had a bright smile on his face and looked at Yizan with infinite tenderness. Hey, little bastard. Huh. Have you ever abandoned me one day? No, I swear, I will never abandon you in this life, in the next life, or even in the next life. Cut. Slick tongue, but, I like it tilde. The two of them were tired of sitting on the sofa for a long time, and it wasn't until after 5 p.m. that Tsunade recovered from the Senju clan's physique. It doesn't hurt anymore. Well, it doesn't hurt anymore, but, I'm so hungry. Tsunade pouted pitifully, and Yizan sighed helplessly with his big twinkling eyes. You idiot, I said before that I would get you some food and bring it to you to eat, but I ended up starving on the sofa all day, idiot. I'm a fool, I want you to accompany me. Tsunade grinned, but her smile only lasted for a few seconds, and her face fell again with a goo-goo sound. Hungry. Let's eat if you're hungry, eat yesterday's sweet and spicy chicken wings. Thinking of the spicy chicken wings, Tsunade's saliva flowed out again. After the two cleaned up, they quickly went out and went straight to the Konoha Commercial Street, the most luxurious barbecue restaurant. Yizan is the major shareholder of the barbecue restaurant. Many years ago, before the Second World War, he invested with the money given by Danzo. As soon as he entered the door, Yizan unexpectedly found that Jiraiya and Namikaze Minato were eating barbecue at the barbecue restaurant, and his breath was instantly captured by Jiraiya, raised his hand and greeted Yizan. "Hey, breath, Tsunade, what a coincidence." "Oh, it's a coincidence." Yizan smiled, pulled Tsunade to get a seat, and had a meal. It was best to be lively. "Honey and spicy chicken wings, give me a large supply, and prepare some good beef, that's all." After saying hello to the store manager, Yizan and Tsunade sat down. Tsunade held Yizan's hand like a little woman all the way, and half snuggled. That strange attitude immediately attracted everyone's attention. "Hey, Tsunade, what's the matter with you?" Jiraiya asked, and the three of Minato also looked over. "It's nothing, I'm just hungry and want to eat." Tsunade said this, but looking at Yizan, the deep love in his eyes could be felt even if he was 10 miles away. "Tsunade, no way." As if he understood something, Jiraiya's eyes suddenly widened, and the chopsticks in his hand, crash, fell to the ground, but he was just dumbfounded, his eyes full of inconceivable. Boom. "Oops, brat, what are you doing?" "HMPH, Jiraiya, Tsunade is my wife, if you look at it this way, be careful, I will gouge out your eyeballs." Yizan waved his fist viciously, causing Jiraiya to shrink his neck in fright, and pouted a little unhappily. "What, just relying on your own strength to be so arrogant? Tsunade is my teammate and comrade in arms, you." "Huh." Yizan's eyes widened, and Jiraiya suddenly froze. He snorted, turned his head, and muttered in his mouth, obviously complaining. The weird atmosphere disappeared instantly after the spicy chicken wings appeared. The moment he saw the chicken wings, Tsunade grabbed them and ate them happily. Chicken wings. When did Tsunade start eating chicken wings? "I'll try one." Jiraiya glanced at Yizan, and after asking Yizan's consent, picked up a chicken wing. When he took the first bite, the rich fragrance filled his mind instantly, his eyes widened exaggeratedly, he couldn't believe that there was such a delicious food in this world. This. Jiraiya didn't know what to say, he didn't know how to describe this deliciousness, he felt that even a second wasted now is an insult to chicken wings. Delicious. Quote. Chapter 255 _ The Interception of the Three Girls. The following week, Yizan completely abandoned his genin team. Tenten and Tsunade were tired of being together, laughing during the day and grumbling at night. Fortunately, after 3 years of physical training, Yizan's body was able to withstand consumption. Yizan was happy here, but Kushina was dissatisfied. One morning, when Yizan left Tsunade's house to buy breakfast, the three girls attacked instantly and caught Yizan. Kushina, Makoto, Konan, why are you here?" Yizan scratched his head stupidly, completely unaware of the anger in Kushina's eyes. "Stinky hooligan, you are our team's instructor. It's been a week. A whole week. Do you still want us?" Kushina bit Kiba tightly, hanging most of his body on Yizan. Kushina didn't know that Yizan's flame was very prosperous at the first taste. She was hanging on Yizan's body. The girl's body that was not big but had developed made Yizan feel a little hot in his heart. Yizan subconsciously held Kushina's butt, looking at Kushina's beautiful big eyes, his breath suddenly became hot. "Huh, smelly hooligan, what's wrong with you?" Yizan's strange behavior made Kushina a little puzzled. She blinked her eyes cutely, and her cute appearance made Yizan's blood start to boil. Since it was still early, the place where the three girls intercepted Yizan was another remote trail. In the entire trail, there was no one except Yizan and the three girls. Makoto and Konan stood beside him. Kushina was hanging on his body. Yizan's heart was pounding, he looked left and right, and when he realized that there was no outsider, he suddenly took a few big steps forward and pushed Kushina against the wall, buried his head, and kissed him fiercely. The hot breath made Kushina's head confused. She passively opened her mouth, her whole body was suspended in the air, her back was against the wall, and Yizan kept kissing her. Yizan's sudden behavior stunned Makoto and Konan on the side. The two little heads didn't understand at all why Yizan suddenly acted like this. The long kiss lasted for a full 10 minutes before it ended. Kushina was weakly held in Yizan's arms. Her white neck was slightly raised, her eyes were blurred, her cheeks were open to Yuhi, and she looked extremely cute. Brother Zan has gone bad. Makoto pulled Conan and took a step back quietly, and was about to run away, but Yizan suddenly turned his head and looked over. Makoto, Conan, still want to run. He put Kushina down gently, denga-denga-dang, a few steps and rushed in front of Makoto, hugged Makoto, and kissed him. After Makoto and Kushina were bullied by this villain, Conan naturally couldn't run away. After a full 30 minutes, Yi Shuinkai walked out of the alley in good spirits, followed by 3 cute girls with red faces and red ears. Let's go. Didn't you say I wouldn't accompany you? Go to the office to get a mission. In Hokage's office, Sarutobi stood by the window sill, holding a long thin whole pot in his hand, leisurely watering the flowers, and there were scissors beside him to trim the branches and leaves of the flowers. This is a small potted plant that Yizan bought last year. There are 5 in total, and they are placed in the Hokage office, and Sarutobi is responsible for the care. He felt that Sarutobi was working too hard every day, and occasionally got tired, so he asked Sarutobi to stop work, water the flowers, and relax. This stinky boy treats me better than my own son. I really don't know where Danzo's luck comes from. Sarutobi shook his head, sighing in his heart. Everyone thinks that Hokage is beautiful, but they don't know how tired Hokage usually is. There are countless documents that need to be handled by themselves. 1 month or 2 months is nothing, but this is a year-round job. No weekends, 365 days of hard work. Boom. A loud bang, the office door opened, and Sarutobi didn't have to look to know that no one dared to kick the office door except the brat he was talking about. Yo, dead monkey, watering the flowers. Yizan walked in carelessly. The 3 girls were a little cautious, and they didn't dare to be too presumptuous towards the leader of the strongest ninja village in the ninja world. Ah, I'm watering the flowers. This is a potted plant you brought. If it dies, why don't you fight for me? As soon as Yizan came in, a smile appeared on Sarutobi's face. He put down the watering bottle, small joke. Che, I'm not working hard. If you dare to keep my flowers to death, I'll buy 500 potted plants next time, exhausting you. Yizan lay lazily on the sofa, pulled up his clothes and patted his belly. Before he came, he went to have breakfast with the 3 daughters, but he ate too much, and until now he was suffering. Eat less, and do everything in moderation, no matter what you eat or that, you must be in moderation. Sarutobi frowned at Yizan slyly trivially. His tone was very reserved. He believed that Yizan would definitely be able to hear it. Sure enough, when Sarutobi used that extremely wretched, trivial expression to control himself, Yizan understood. He pouted, and asked speechlessly, "Look at this, you all know." Ha. Your father, Jiraiya, including Orochimaru have heard about your performance this week, but you don't know, Jiraiya cried all night, saying that you bullied his goddess. Sarutobi laughed, not sure if it was broken by Yizan. He also became fond of teasing Jiraiya. But then again, you just mentioned Orochimaru. How is Kakuzu? I didn't tell you. Actually Kakuzu came out a few days ago. Huh, why didn't I know? Who dares to disturb you in this state? Sarutobi shrugged helplessly. Kakuzu was brought back by Yizan, and according to common sense, Yizan should be notified of this matter first, but Yizan Tenten and Tsunade had sex. Go to disturb, it would be strange not to be beaten into a pig's head. So, where is Kakuzu now? I'm looking for it. After Sarutobi finished speaking, he put his hands on the crystal ball. After a while, a quiet cafe was displayed on the crystal ball. Kakuzu was sitting and chatting with a woman in her 30s, but most of the women were talking, and Kakuzu was listening. Sarutobi used the crystal ball technique to capture Kakuzu's moment. Kakuzu also felt Sarutobi's chakra. He said a few words to the woman, then left the cafe and ran quickly towards the Hokage building. Chapter 256 Changes in Kakuzu. He is 1.85 meters tall, with yellow skin and a relatively strong body. His face and mouth are somewhat similar to Orochimaru. Overall, it looks very safe. Tisk tisk tisk. As expected of Orochimaru, he is definitely number one in the world in terms of body modification. So, now you can control the resentment perfectly. Yes. Kakuzu nodded. There were no cracks or black lines on his face or body, only a black line left on his lower back. This black thread is the key to using earth resentment, that is to say, at a critical time, he can still split his body without reducing his strength. Afterwards, Kakuzu took out a storage scroll and tapped it lightly, and with a burst of white mist, 4 monsters poured out of the scroll. Orochimaru changed my ability to a storage scroll, so I don't need to install 4 additional hearts on my body in the future. Because of the grievances of the earth, even if my main heart dies, I will not die, and I can replace it immediately. In terms of stealth, it's better than ever. As expected of Orochimaru. Yizan nodded with satisfaction. Kakuzu's body was not only successfully repaired, but also enhanced his concealment. 2 years of 573 were not wasted in vain, and looking at Kakuzu's mental state, it was much better than before. Have you been suffocated in the research institute? So just a few days after you came out, you started picking up girls. As soon as Yizan asked, he immediately made Kakuzu's face full of yuhi. He didn't know how to explain it, and seemed to be in a hurry for a while. Kakuzu, who was willing to do anything for money at first, and later suffered from severe depression, Kakuzu is now much better than before. Of course, it cannot be said that his depression has been cured, but it has eased a lot, and it will continue to develop according to this trend. Will be cured one day. Heart disease still needs a heart medicine doctor. Now the ninja world is in the stage of self-cultivation and recuperation after World War II. Even if Kakuzu is used, there is no place for him. After thinking about it, Yizan has a plan in his heart. Kakuzu, let's do it. I'll arrange you as Chunin for the time being. You can rest in Konoha or do CB level tasks. It's up to you. The woman who chatted with you in the cafe just now seems to be good. Don't miss this opportunity. Yo tilde. Yizan winked his eyes with a smile on his face, making Kakuzu shy again. He did not speak, but bowed sincerely to Yizan, then nodded to Sarutobi, and turned to leave the office. Kakuzu's situation improved. Yizan felt a little relieved. Konoha had one more cage level, and in the face of danger, he would have more protection. Okay, dead monkey, let's get down to business. I'm looking for you today to pick up a quest. Forget about the D-level quest. Are there any fun C-level quests? It's okay to travel far away, just play with my girl. Tilda. Bah, who is your family? Shameless. Compared with Makoto and Conan, Kushina has the most lively character. She held onto Yizan's cheek, vicious, but with 9 points of cuteness. You are my family, my Kushina, come on, kiss me. Yizan pouted and leaned towards Kushina's face, so scared that Kushina immediately shrank her head. She gave Yizan an unhappy look. If Lord Hokage wasn't here, she would definitely repair Yizan. Kushina quieted down and Yizan did not continue to harass. He held Makoto in his left hand and Conan in his right hand. Although the 2 little girls were very shy, they did not break free from Yizan's claws. They just lowered their heads and looked very cute. There are a lot of tasks recently, and there are all kinds of tasks. I took a look. There is a C-level task that is very suitable for you. Do you want to do it? What mission? Protect the master bridge builder Akwiki and go to Kikyo Castle to build the bridge. What? Kikyo Castle? The sudden mention of Juyuan's name surprised Yizan. That was when the Second Ninja World War had just begun. In order to defeat the advance army of the Land, Yizan used the detonating talisman to blow up Kikyo City. It has been at least 5 years since now. Hearing this name again 5 years later, Yizan couldn't help but be surprised, because this feeling is too strange. Kyonkyo Castle, didn't I blow it up? Yeah, it was destroyed by you, but you dismissed all the civilians in the city, and almost no civilians were killed or injured. They rebuilt a new Kikyo Castle on the right side of the crumbling mountain range, but due to the original explosion, the entire mountain range is no longer connected. Oops. I can't tell. You will naturally understand when you get there. Will you accept this task? Take it. Sea-level tasks generally do not encounter ninjas. To protect the bridge building master Akuiji, in order to prevent bandits along the way, so this is just a sea-level task. The land of the land wants to do business with our country, but the mountain range has collapsed. If we take a detour, the caravan of the land thinks it will take too long, so the new Kikyo Castle discussed with the merchants of the land. Decided to build the longest, tallest, widest and greatest bridge in the world for half the money. Quote. Akwiki's face was full of excitement. As the world's #1 bridge master, he shouldered a very heavy responsibility. Because the plan was too large, it took him half a year to design the bridge building plan, and the materials needed to build the bridge. Has long been hoarding in the new Kikyo city. How much did it cost? Yizan sat on the top of the carriage with nothing to do, and the three girls walked at the forefront keeping vigilance to prevent accidents and enemies. About 100 million. What kind of eyes do you have? Do you think I'm telling a lie? Hey little brother, let me tell you, I am the world's #1 bridge builder. The bridge I built this time is definitely something you have never seen in your life. Huge project. What kind of eyes do you have, huh? The stinky boy has never seen the world. Seeing Yizan's increasingly disdainful eyes, Akwiki was a little excited. He finally decided that Yizan had never seen the world, and turned his head, feeling that chatting with such a kid was a waste of his energy. I didn't encounter ninjas along the way, but there were quite a few bandits. The three girls were all elite genin's strength, and they easily defeated these bandits. Half a month later, Yizan's team finally arrived at New Campanulaceae City. When he saw everything in New Campanulaceae City, his eyes widened, and he couldn't help but take a deep breath. No way. Akwiki, are you really going to build a bridge here? Chapter 257 _ The world's first bridge. New Kikyo Castle, built on a broken mountain range, has existed since the samurai era and has a history of thousands of years. Its aborigines also have unimaginable feelings. When the population was demobilized, the Konoha ninjas went too far, and even used bloody means to deter the civilians. When the Kikyo city collapsed and the mountains collapsed, these civilians who had lived in Kikyo city for dozens of generations spent a few years rebuilding a new city on the broken mountain range. At that time, in order to achieve the absolute effect, the detonating talisman was buried as deep as the base of the mountain range. All the Doden Earth-style ninjas use the Doden Earth-style technique to go into the mountain and buried it hundreds of meters deep, so when it exploded, the mountain range was very shattered. Thoroughly. After several years of construction, the new Kikyo Castle was built on the right side of the broken mountain range. The right side corresponds to the direction of Konoha, and the left side corresponds to the direction of the land of Earth. So I told you at the beginning, brat, what I'm going to build is absolutely the greatest bridge in the world. With a face full of excitement, Akwiki stood at a higher position in New Kikyo City. The place where he entered his eyes was a super abyss 2,000 meters wide and more than 900 meters deep. The abyss stretches endlessly, and there is no end in sight. In addition to the gloomy and cloudy weather today, Yizan looked down and found that he could not see the bottom at all. This is the abyss left by the Big Bang. Well, this abyss used to be the highest and most prosperous place in Kikyo City. Unfortunately, the big explosion shattered the foundation of the mountain range, and the entire mountain range collapsed, leaving only this abyss that can never be crossed. Indeed, even a powerful ninja must use chakra to absorb it on his feet, step down from the mountain wall to the bottom of the abyss, walk 2 kilometers to the opposite side, and then walk up step by step to reach the opposite side. Even if the mountain wall is slippery after the rain, if chakra accidentally fails to attach, it will fall directly. At this depth, once it falls, even a strong cage-level person cannot survive. Can you really build a bridge in a place like this? Humph. I am the world's #1 bridge builder. I spent half a year analyzing the plan. Although it is difficult, at my level, given me 3 years, I can build the strongest and most spacious bridge in the world. A bridge that can accommodate 5 horses walking on the bridge at the same time. Quote. 3 years. Seeing Aokwiki's sacred expression, Yi-zan sighed softly and built a bridge in 3 years, but how many 3 years are there in life? I admit, you are indeed the world's #1 bridge builder, and the bridge you built will indeed become the greatest bridge in the world. To send you to New Kikyo City, my task is considered complete. Then, before I leave can you tell me, what name are you going to name this bridge? In this world, the name of the bridge is taken by the master of the bridge. Seeing Yi-zan's heartfelt appearance, Aokwiki was full of pride. He shook his head and slowly said the name of the bridge. This bridge is made of the most sturdy materials today, even gods can't destroy it, so I named this bridge, Kanabi Bridge. When I came, I walked for half a month because of the presence of Aokwiki, and when I went back, I arrived home in just a few days. Kanabi Bridge, well, so this is Kanabi Bridge. Lying on the sofa, Yi-zan whispered, although he didn't know if this was the Kanabi Bridge in the original book, but if the land of the land really wanted to call, this bridge would indeed become a very important transportation hub. Leaving Konoha for so long was a very uncomfortable thing for Yi-zan. Thinking of Tsunade's perfect body without fat, Yi-zan felt a flame gushing out. He looked up and saw that Makoto was making dessert in the kitchen. Then he turned to the hallway and saw that Kushina and Konan were sleeping in the bedroom. What a great opportunity. The flames that had been suppressed for more than half a month made his eyes light up, and he crept over and hugged Makoto from behind. Makoto. Ah, brother Zan. Being hugged by Yi-zan, Makoto's pretty face suddenly became dizzy. She bowed her head shyly, although Yi-zan's hand was dishonestly placed on her fierce, she did not resist. Makoto, come and let my brother kiss. Yi-zan's breath was hot and full of inexplicable attraction. He held Makoto's face and pulled Makoto into his arms. He leaned his head forward as much as possible, and kissed Makoto's lips in a strange posture. Being kissed by Yi-zan, Makoto's brain was immediately chaotic. She responded to Yi-zan's kiss stupidly and clumsily. After 5 minutes of kissing, she realized that something was pressing against her, making her feel a little uncomfortable. Brother Zan, there is something against me. Makoto looked confused. She never read those books, she simply didn't understand what it was. And Yi-zan liked Makoto's confusion the most. He smiled wickedly and his tone became hotter. Makoto, it's my brother's thing, touch it lightly. He guided Makoto's movements. Seeing that Makoto's hand was about to touch, suddenly, the bedroom door opened, Kushina lazily stepped on his slippers, and came out, crunchily. Oh, Makoto, why aren't the pastries ready yet? I'm starving. Kushina's bedroom was not too far from the kitchen. When she walked to the kitchen door, she was shocked to find that Yi-zan was hugging Makoto tightly. The most important thing is that she found that Yi-zan's trousers were wearing a big tent. Stinky, smelly rascal, you. She widened her eyes in disbelief. She, who likes to read books, of course understands what it is. Yuhi's dizziness was all over her pretty face. She covered her mouth stupidly, and was stunned for a while. And at this moment, because of Kushina's appearance, Makoto let out a soft cry and broke free from Yi-zan's embrace. Perhaps too shy, Makoto quickly rushed into the bedroom and closed the door with a bang. The Makoto that he received just flew like this, which made Yi-zan unable to react for a while. He still kept his hands in a holding position, staring at Kushina stupidly, and the two of them looked at each other like that. Then, Yi-zan's eyes changed, and he glanced at Kushina from top to bottom, and a trace of evil passed over the corner of his mouth. Chapter 258 _Weird Smell. In the lounge at Shimura, house, Conan is curled up on the sofa origami. More than an hour had passed since Makoto made pastries before, and Conan and Yizan had finished eating a plate of delicate pastries. Makoto glanced at the bathroom a little worriedly. It had been a long time, and the cakes were all finished, but Kushina had been staying in the bathroom, and the sound of rinsing and brushing Kobo was heard from time to time. Kushina, aren't you hungry and want to eat cakes? Brother Zan and Conan have eaten up the cakes, do you want me to make you another one? No, I don't want to eat anything today. Don't call me for dinner, I don't want to eat anything. After a while, Kushina slowly walked out of the washroom, her cheeks turned to Yuhi, and she looked at Yizan, her eyes shy and angry. Asshole. As soon as she thought of the fishy smell in her mouth, she had the urge to rinse her mouth. Although she had seen it in Hell in Heaven, she didn't expect that when she really faced it, the smell would still make it difficult for her to accept it. Hee, Kushina, come here and sit next to me Tilda. Yizan patted the sofa with a smile, feeling refreshed. The scene in Kushina's bedroom 20 minutes ago was so cool. So cool that he can't stand it. Damn, smelly rascal, disgusting. Kushina bit Kobo tightly, and finally sat next to Makoto. There were 3 sofas in the lounge. Since Yizan occupied the longest sofa, she could only squeeze a bunch with Makoto. Kushina's weird behavior made Makoto and Conan a little confused. Makoto didn't understand the reason at all, but Conan had read the book. As if thinking of something, she stared at Kushina with piercing eyes, a little skeptical, not very sure. Sister Kushina, you just... Conan, I just want to brush Kobo. I've been eating too much sweets lately, I'm worried that Kobo will grow, hey. Kushina smirked, and finally fooled Conan. Conan let out an "oh," and continued to fold on the sofa and origami. This kind of sea-level long-term task, because of the journey, there will always be a bit of exhaustion. After finally returning home, I am lazy and don't want to move anything. It is very comfortable to just be in a daze. Well, of course, Yizan didn't want to move, because the flame had been eliminated, and when he found Kushina staring at him, he also looked at Kushina, and looked at the corner of Kushina's mouth specially, and that scene reappeared in his mind. When he thought of that scene, Yizan became hot again. How could he do a task for more than 10 days at a time? Yizan's energy was very strong, just once. Kushina, accompany me out to buy something. Yizan said as if he was chatting normally. If it wasn't for the wicked smile on his lips, Kushina would have believed it. Humph, disgusting rascal, I'm not going. Kushina shook her head vigorously, and said she wouldn't go out with Yizan alone. She was not allowed to be bullied by this bastard in some remote place. Kushina doesn't want to go, or... Brother Zan, shall I go with you? Makoto didn't understand, she just wanted to accompany Yizan, but Kushina understood. Seeing Yizan's success, Kushina's expression changed, and she immediately grabbed Makoto and smirked. He. Makoto, let's accompany him. Conan, do you want to come? I'm not coming, you guys go. Conan shook his head and continued to origami. Kushina didn't mind either. As long as Yizan was not allowed to be alone with one of the girls, he would not be bullied by Yizan. Stinky hooligan, let you bully me. Kushina glanced at Yizan proudly. She was about to sabotage Yizan's plan. She did it. If there are 2 girls, Yizan is really not easy to shoot. This kind of shameful thing is the easiest to do alone. HMPH. Smelly woman, don't let me take the chance. Yizan also glared at Kushina. The 2 kept eye contact, swords, and even the air was filled with fighting intent. Bah, you disgusting guy, you actually let me eat you. Disgusting. Still looking for a chance. Never think about it. Hey, that might be. Definitely, I will definitely stop you. In a flash of eye contact, the 3 put on their shoes and slowly left the house, and at this moment, Conan suddenly put down the paper in her hand and stood up quickly, her eyes twinkling, and she crept to the window. After discovering that Yizan and the 3 had really left, he sneaked into Kushina's bedroom. Suck. What a strange smell. Conan kept sniffing her nose, and she smelled a faint but fishy smell. This is definitely not the taste of Kushina, and Kushina never brings food into the bedroom, excluding the smell of food like fishy smell, which means. Conan kept thinking, as if thinking of something, immediately lowered her head, and searched the neighborhood. She kept searching, and finally, she found that there was a difference in the corner of the bedding. Conan picked up the bedding, brought the corner to the tip of his nose and smelled it, and a fishy smell rushed into the nose. That's it. It's exactly as described in the book. After watching the second part of Hell and Heaven, Conan finally guessed what it was, and when she thought that Yizan and Kushina were here and there 20 minutes ago, her face suddenly became Yuhi. Teacher is good or bad? To do this with Kushina's sister, and still use your mouth, too bad. Conan thought like this, her face became more and more Yuhi, and finally, she rushed out of the bedroom 0.0 shyly, but did not find that a paper flower that was folded before fell into the bedroom. Yizan and Kushina didn't know that Conan had found out about the two of them. He was holding Makoto with his left hand, but his right hand failed. Kushina didn't hold hands with Yizan. She ran to Makoto's side and took Makoto's other hand. Stinky hooligan, didn't you say you want to come out to buy something? Say, what are you going to buy? Kushina knew that Yizan's words to buy something were just an excuse. She kept provoking Yizan and raised her chin proudly. I buy. Of course I buy things, I buy. Yizan was speechless, he looked left and right, and suddenly, the smell of chili wafted into his nose, and at that moment, he seemed to think something, and drooled out. Something to eat. Chapter 259_Food and Year. The Shimura family was suddenly busy. The thick pepper choked his nose. Yizan, who never entered the kitchen, was actually busy in the kitchen. Dried yuhi peppers cut and seeded, ginger sliced, garlic seeds peeled and smashed, green onions cut into sections, spices crushed. Makoto and Conan cut things. Yizan used a big scoop to get the oil. The oil in the iron pan was already cooked to the point of maturity. Yizan immediately threw a lump of butter next to it. There was a crackling sound, and a few drops of oil splashed. It was in Yizan's hands. Oops! Yizan shouted. Makoto immediately came to look worried. Yizan shook his head with a smile, scooped up the oil with a big scoop and poured it on the butter. Almost, put in the onion, ginger, and garlic. Put in the dried yuhi peppers. The bustling kitchen became more and more choking, and it took a full hour before the kitchen stopped. Hey, stinky bastards! What are you doing? Kushina slapped the seeds in confusion. It wasn't because she didn't help, but when she went into the kitchen and cut 20 or 30 dishes of vegetables, she cut her fingers, and after a few sips of oil, she almost smashed her fingers. After a pot of boiling oil overturned, Yizan forbade Kushina from entering the kitchen. I'm making something very, very, very delicious, I won't tell you now. Yizan was mysterious, including Makoto and Conan. He didn't say anything. By the way, this is a cross-century delicacy that I made. How can we eat such a good thing? Kushina, go and call Tsunade. Has Mawako and Jiraiya out of the village on a mission during this time? It's a pity, Minato and Claw can't enjoy it anymore. Go see Shikaku, and if you're at home, call the three of them. Why should I shout? Excuse me, you kitchen killer, go. Yizan glared at Kushina and started to wash vegetables together with Makoto Conan. They had just bought a lot of things at the vegetable market, 10 kinds of meat dishes and 10 kinds of vegetarian dishes, as well as internal organs such as tripe and duck intestines. A large number of dishes took a lot of time to process, and when Kushina came back with Tsunade, Yizan had just washed some kelp and was currently cutting the lean meat. Ah, Xiaoshuan, what are you doing? Tsunade walked into the kitchen. The smell of oil and chili made her sneeze, and then she walked into the kitchen to help cook together. Don't say it now, I'll say it when it's ready and eat. Yizan blinked mysteriously, turned his head to look outside, and found Kushina huddled on the sofa lazily. Hey, stinky woman, why don't you move? Stinky bastards, I've found everything that should be found. Shikaku and the others are not at home, and my sister and Minato are not back. No one else. In other words, Tsunade was alone in the house in the end, so many dishes would definitely not be able to be eaten. Yizan finally decided to put more than half of the dishes in the refrigerator, which would save time and not waste. The setting sun has been setting for a long time, and the stars in the night are sparse. Until 8 o'clock in the evening, the hungry people finally sat at the dining table with a big iron pot in front of them. Under the iron pot, Yizan specially made a square iron box. The fire was burning in the box, and the yuhi oil in the iron pot was also boiling, exuding a spicy fragrance. This thing is called hot pot. It was created by this genius, it's unique, and it's absolutely delicious. Yizan proudly held his head high, and shamelessly stole things from the 21st century. Then, he picked up a piece of tripe with chopsticks and put it in the pot. After scalding it for a while, he picked it up and put it into a small bowl with oil and garlic. After soaking for a long time, I ate it in one bite. Delicious. The strong spicy fragrance and Yizan's appearance made the girls drool. It was 8 o'clock in the evening, and they were already hungry. Following Yizan's demonstration, they each picked up their favorite dishes and put them in the pot. Immediately, the Shimura family heard all kinds of admiration. Good times. This is the best thing I've ever eaten. Hot, scalding me. Woo, delicious. Kushina, you idiot, don't you know how to slow down? But it's really delicious. A happy and peaceful happy life passed like this for a year. Practice by yourself, practice with girls, have sex with Tsunade, get tired with Tsunade, bully Kushina, bully Makoto, bully Conan, eat, sleep. Before he knew it, Yizan was 14 years old. A crow flew over Konoha, and every time it flew over the head of an elite jonin, it cried out unpleasantly, attracting the attention of many elite jonin. Hey, this is... Yizan raised his head, his eyes flashed with a hint of doubt. He stood there for a full 10 minutes, and it took him a long time to remember. Oh, this crow is calling, it seems that there is something wrong, and he is going to the office to gather. The door of the office was not closed, and it was full of people standing inside. Yizan stood at the door, looking at the open door. A very strong obsessive-compulsive disorder developed in his heart. This is the first time in my life that I didn't kick the door when I came in. It's so frustrating. Thinking of this, he immediately pulled the 2 doors, and with a squeak, he closed the office door directly. Then, boom! With a loud bang, Yizan kicked the door open, raised his head, and walked into 580 carelessly. In the office, Sarutobi watched Yizan come in with a black line on his face. He just saw Yizan closing the door, the corners of his mouth twitched, and he finally couldn't help but ask, Shaozan, you can come in directly, why do you want to close the door and kick it open? Because it's so cool. Kicking the door of Hokage's office feels like slapping you in the face. Yizan's cheerful look made Sarutobi's face even darker. When he found that the ninjas around were holding back their laughter, he sighed helplessly and directly handed the banana on the table to Yizan. Be good today, there is something important, don't make trouble. Hey, the one behind, close the door. Door closed, Sarutobi's expression finally became official. He raised his head and swept the jonin assembled in the office, and found that Jiraiya and his eldest son were not there. Where's Jiraiya? Where's Sarutobi Shinosuke? Boom. As soon as Sarutobi finished speaking, Jiraiya kicked the door open and walked in with Sarutobi Shinosuke. His carefree appearance reminded Sarutobi of the word, slap in the face, and at that moment, Sarutobi was furious. Oops. With Jiraiya screaming, Sarutobi threw his beloved pipe on Jiraiya's head. Chapter 260 The Five-Nation Joint Entrance Examination. Ooh, why is it always me who gets hurt? In Hokage's office, Jiraiya pouted pitifully, with a large bag on her forehead. Generally speaking, the stupidest are the most easily injured. Yizan sat on the sofa shaking his head, looking at Jiraiya with mocking eyes. Damn brat. It's all your fault. Hee hee, beat me up if you don't want to. You. Boom. The pipe hit Jiraiya's head again, and the pain caused Jiraiya to burst into tears. He sobbed and looked at Sarutobi, but Sarutobi beckoned with a ruthless look and asked Jiraiya to return the pipe. It's obvious that the stinky boy is so annoying, you know to hit me. Jiraiya murmured in a low voice, not daring to be arrogant anymore. He shrank his neck and stood aside. The noisy atmosphere finally disappeared. I am looking for everyone today, it's a big deal. Sarutobi knocked on his pipe, put on a leaf cigarette, and struck the match. After a while, a puff of smoke rose from the office. The 3-yearly 5-nation joint Chunin exam is about to begin. This time, the exam will take place in Kurigakure village, the land of water. Everyone knows that winning or losing the Chunin exam symbolizes the strength of the new generation of the 5 nations. We'll wait 3 years on purpose. We Konoha have never lost in the Chunin exam, so this time can't lose either. Sarutobi's tone is serious. Chunin exams seem unimportant, but actually determine the trend of world politics and business. These politicians and businessmen are very smart. They have a broad vision. Looking to the future, which country is more likely to be powerful, they are more willing to go to which country to develop, and they are willing to entrust tasks to make the country more prosperous. This is the true meaning of the 3-yearly 5-nation joint examination. Because of this, the 5-nation joint examination is extremely cruel, and there are many talents. Those who enter the top 8 in the 5-nation joint examination will almost become famous Jonin masters in the future. Sarutobi's words made the Jonins a little excited. The ones who were recruited to the office were all Jonins who were taking students. They all wanted their students to stand out, but this kind of cruel competition has a very high mortality rate. I'll come first. I, Sarutobi Shinosuke, would like to take my team Nara Shikaku, Akamichi Choza, Yamanaka Inoichi, and take the exam. What? Shinosuke, how can you bring newcomers to the competition? They are newcomers who just graduated, how can you let them die? The speaker was an elite Jonin named Hanataro Yamada. He was the vice principal of the ninja school. All students are naturally familiar with Ino Shikacho, who has only graduated 1 year. Hanataro, I understand your thoughts, but I am their instructor. I know what their strengths are, and they have graduated for a year, so they are not completely new. I think they are qualified to take the exam. Sarutobi Shinosuke immediately blocked the other party back with a word. Indeed, the Shikaku 3 are Ino Shikacho, after all. As the next generation of patriarchs, the 3 of them are extremely talented, especially the traditional cooperation of Ino Shikacho, which makes they can deal with stronger enemies. I'm coming too, myself Jiraiya, willing to take my squad Namikaze Minato, Uzumaki Mawako, Inazuka Claw, and take the test. What? Jiraiya, why are you booing along? Hanataro, as Shinosuke said, as their instructor, I know their strengths, and Namikaze Minato is a super genius that I and Hokage-sama value very much, and you can't measure him with ordinary thinking. And there is also Mawako, the Kyubi 9-tails person Jinchuriki column force. Thinking like this, Jiraiya strengthened his determination to take the exam. Namikaze Minato is already an elite Chunin, Mawako is also an elite Chunin, and although Inazuka's claw is weak, she is also an elite Genin. Staying at the Genin level has been doing low-level tasks, which is not good for their growth. Okay. The speeches of Sarutobi Shinosuke and Jiraiya immediately stirred up the competition among the Jonins. Many of them were good enough to take the Chunin exam, but they just kept waiting for this triennial joint exam. I Hasegawa, willing to take my team. I am Muchinba, willing to take my team. I, Yamaguchi Katsupe, would like to take my team. One by one Jonin came out, at least 7 or 8 Jonin came out. At this moment, Yizan picked up his fingers lazily, and slowly stood up in the eyes of everyone's doubts. I, Shimura Gen, would like to take my team Uzumaki Kushina, Uchiha Makoto, Conan, and take the exam. All the top students in the last class have taken the Chunin exam. Seriously, they are not newcomers. They have been practicing with the instructor for a year. Their strength is much stronger than when they left the school, especially the group of Namikaze Minato, who worked hard in Jiraiya under the guidance. The strength increases day by day. Shimura's home. What, you want us to take the Chunin exam? Kushina widened her eyes in surprise and raised her voice high. Be quiet. Are you so surprised? With your strengths, it's totally possible. Yizan lay lazily on the sofa. Makoto obediently cut fruit and fed him. Kushina is a lazy bastard who doesn't usually like to practice. Even with Yizan's supervision, her strength is still around the elite genin. Fortunately, her Uzumaki clan's physique and chakra are more than 10 times that of ninjas of the same level. Comparable to Chunin. Makoto's strength is stronger, and he seems to have a warm personality. He cultivates very hard and quietly, and has reached the level of Chunin. The most important thing is that the death of the elder a few years ago made her start Sharingan. After several years of training, at present, she has a single tomo in the left eye and a double tomo in the right eye. After this Chunin exam, she should be able to open a complete double tomo. As for Conan, don't look at Conan's young age. Maybe he is really talented. He already has the strength of Chunin at the age of 11. Well, of course, she can't compare to Kakashi of the next 5-year-old genin and 6-year-old Chunin. After all, her practice time is not long, unlike Kakashi who received Hatake Tsukumo's teaching since childhood. Yizan turned to look at the other sofa and found that Conan was holding a piece of paper in his left hand and a detonating amulet in his right. She started to study the paper escape last year. Under the guidance of Yizan, she is trying to integrate the detonating amulet into the paper escape to increase the power of paper dun. Seeing this, Yizan nodded with satisfaction. He felt that the team he brought was enough to take the Chunin exam.